Whoa. Vibration together. I mean, the vibration is right. We're gonna play another slow jam song right after this. Well, not a slow jam. We can get into our intro. We're just switching the energies up. Shout out to the old head. You can't go wrong with no Al Green. Shout out to everybody in the building, man. Let's get it right, man. We're gonna switch it.
Paulie take a nigga for his last ride. See ya. Show that. This is the part that gets scary. I try to talk, but these niggas ain't hear me. This is the part that gets spooky. They play that role and I'm ending the movie. Yeah, I swear to God, I put the Fed God in these niggas. I swear to God, I put the Fed God in these niggas. I swear to God, I put the Fed God in these niggas. I swear to God, I put the Fed God in these niggas. I never go back on my promise. Yeah, one thing I don't like to be. They don't got a hand for me. Night is people me. Homicide asking my whereabouts. Nobody know where the fuck you went. Refuse to be taken on a different beast. Trying to run straight in the dickies, puzzle, no missing piece. I'm on a mission like God sent me. I'm on a level that can't be reached. Nigga, I speak like God. The party is scary. I try to talk, but these niggas ain't hear me. This is the part that gets spooky. They play that role and I'm ending the movie. Yeah, I swear to God, I put the Fed God in these niggas. I swear to God, I put the Fed God in these niggas. I swear to God, I put the Fed God in these niggas. I swear to God, I put the Fed God in these niggas. Serving who moving that white. Yeah, I done got used to this life. I done grew heartless, stuck in the darkness. I know my future was bright. I'm at the stove and I'm knee deep, cooking your body on repeat. Rifles inside of the trap, try to run up ahead. I'ma shoot, make you retreat. Niggas is not to be trusted. Searching for info, I won't reveal it. Gripping the handle, I clutch it. Shoot them broad day and I won't conceal it. Niggas be trying to stay relevant. The game is a time for intelligence. Hustle, I do it in fashion. Tripping designer, that's elegant. I know they gon' hate for some odd reason. I'm a Poland and Glock and a Dodge Demon. Give me some top. From that main bitch, she gon' swallow my nut like it's God sent me. Completed the puzzle, no missing piece. I'm on a mission like God sent me. I'm on a level that can't be reached. Nigga, I speak like God in me. The party is scary. I try to talk, but these niggas ain't hear me.
Shout out to everybody in the building, man. I need everybody to hit that like button, man. It's about Original Power, man. We're gonna play one more little jammy jam before we even get cracking. I need everybody to thumb up the video, support the channel, man. Y'all should already know the vibes. It's your brother, Big Aboriginal Power, man. Y'all should already know what's up. Shout out to everybody in the building. Can I get everybody to drop the fire emojis in the chat? First and foremost, we need everybody to respect the channel, man. Can we get some likes in the building? Can we get y'all to share this thing? You know what I mean? Before we get into the next intro, shout out to all American Aborigines, man, the like-minded, copper-colored, bronze brothers and sisters around the planet. This is the Aboriginal Uprising.
Whatever it takes. Be selling. Right, this shit crazy.
Lost one.
That dog, for my pain that don't feel nothing, that dog. Yeah. Yeah, for my pain, it don't feel nothing at all. For these niggas, nah, ain't nothing but God. I had to move around with nothing but frauds. I tried to bring the team together, get my vision involved. I gave a plan, but niggas scrambled. It's time to pick up that call. You can't get 1,500 in a 6-week span. Time to pay up, everybody goes, I be damn. I should've seen it. All I got is Rain, Slim, Tim, you know it's Teach. I got Tay and I got Lee. I got Deja and Salih. I got Foreign, they got Feet. They say your name, that's cause you preach. Them niggas folded under heat. No umbrella, let them shots rain down. You believe the dream, just stand up If not, lay down. Let it rain down. If you my nigga, then just say it. If you ain't got it, then just say it. Let it rain down. Yeah, my nigga, then just say it. Let it rain down. Let it rain down. Right, this is crazy. Yeah. We gotta weather the storm. If you don't understand, get better informed. I'm from the trench, and my trust really weathered and torn. With my niggas from the sandbox, trying to put this shit on top some water, but we laying low. We all want the same shit, but can't get on the same page. How bad do y'all really want it? Niggas just be saying things, so place in which y'all lives now. Everything that I pipe down. Yeah, I was chilling for a minute, but I'm live now. Niggas talking about the past, come get with me right now. Come and really see my grind. Come and see me live now. I'm live now. I'm live now. Come and see me live now. Ain't no umbrella, let them shots rain down. You believe the dream, then stand up. If not, lay down. Feel it rain down. My nigga, then just say it. You ain't got it, then just say it. Let it rain down. Yeah. Ain't no umbrella, let them shots rain down. You believe the dream, then stand up. If not, lay down. Feel it rain down. If you my nigga, then just say it. If you ain't got it, then just say it. Let it rain down. Let it rain down. Yeah. My nigga, did you say it? You my brother, did you say it? Let it rain down. Let it rain down.
Peace, peace, peace. Peace, love, and light to all the American Aborigines, man. It's your brother, Aboriginal Power. Peace and blessings to everybody that's in the building. Ooh, excuse me. Little Birch, I'm drinking on this soda right now. We got a root beer in the backwood. We lit to go. We lit to go, man. Shout out to everybody that's in the building. If I can get y'all to drop a fire emoji in the chat, letting me know that you can hear me loud and clear. I got a fire show from you guys today, and we're going to be listening to one of the elders drop some heat on what's been going on in the community, what's been shaking. So we're going to get to that here in a second. Before we get into that, I want to shout out everybody that's tuning into the live stream. Shout out to the 45 people that's gathering in here. I do want to take the time out to say peace and blessings to you guys and your family. Shout out to everybody that's listening in that's not able to type in the chat. I also want to give a special shout out to everybody that's in the chat. I will be going through shouting you guys out one by one. Also, I want to reiterate, and I will be reiterating this throughout the whole live stream. Don't forget to get your pay-per-view tickets. You can purchase the pay-per-view tickets for March 31st pay-per-view. Pan-Africanism is Dead tomorrow. You can start purchasing your tickets tomorrow. So I want you guys to be a part of this. I want y'all to be tuned in. This is going to be a hell of a very, very informational pay-per-view. It's probably going to be the best one you've seen yet. We've got a lot of fire researchers, historians on there as well. So we're going to be breaking down how Pan-Africanism is dead. March 31st, Pan-Africanism is dead, the pay-per-view, man. Y'all going to want to be there. Don't forget, man. It's going to be 4 of your top favorite researchers. It's going to be dope. This is just going to be the first of many. We're going to do a part 2 to this. We're going to have different guests, researchers coming on, breaking it down, man. Pan-Africanism is dead, the pay-per-view. Make sure y'all get that tickets. Drop a fire emoji in the chat if you guys are going to be willing to get those tickets. So, you know what I'm saying? So shout out to everybody in the building. If I can get everybody to drop a fire emoji and support the channel, don't forget the $5 challenge is in effect for all Aboriginal platforms. Shout out to Big Dog Philly OG, Sister Soul Main Radio, Ab TV, Chief Holidays, A1, 111 Truth, and the rest of you brothers that go live dropping this Aboriginal information. Your time and your effort, your information, that does not go unnoticed. All right, we see it, and we want to reward you guys and give our gratitude for you guys putting it out. So make sure you support the channels with the $5 cash out donation, supporting the $5 challenge for all Aboriginal platforms. Make sure y'all support the platforms. Cash out and PayPal information at the bottom of the screen for those that's wondering in the chat. Shout out to Mother of Dragons. Just shout out the family that's in the chat. Mother of Dragons, Cato Morton, Julian Woolton. Hey, call me B. Shout out to Shaw Alpers. Shout out to Roger W. Mrs. Tanya Parker. Shout out to you, sister. Good for you tapping in. Make sure you don't work too hard over there. Don't work too hard. Bobby Two Fly, Leonidas, Wilmore Reed, aka Pop Reed to you guys. That's the elder in the chat. He probably is the senior in the chat. Shout out to Wilmore Reed. Make sure y'all show him extra love in the chat. Good to see you in here. Shout out to Wine Truth in the building. Cato Morrison, Carbon Crowns, Eric Duncan, December's very own Mike. Shout out to Mike in the building. And Craig Lloyd. Shout out to everybody in the building. If y'all in here with me, drop those fire emojis. Shout out to Haynes. Haynes, I seen you over there last night building at the brother channel. Shout out to you. Shout out to Haynes. Shout out to Trip the Ghost. Shout out to Trip the Ghost in the fucking building. Ghetto Child Clinic is in the building. Ghetto Child Clinic is in the building. We got some shit lined up for you today, man. I want to talk about how Black American / Aboriginal American history is told in reverse. We're going to be dealing with the Transatlantic host and fake natives of the USA. Fake natives of the United States of America. We will be talking about those. Shout out to Gerard White. Gerard White is in the building. What's going on, Gerard? What's going on? How y'all feeling out there? Before we get into the audio that I got lined up, how y'all feeling out there? Y'all got any questions for your brother? Y'all want to say something to me? Make sure y'all get those pay-per-views. How many of y'all willing to get those pay-per-views March 31st? Pan-Africanism is dead. How many of y'all are going to get those pay-per-views? Let me know by a show of fire emojis in the chat. Y'all let me know in the chat. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about? Shout out to everybody in the building, man. How many of y'all gonna be willing to? How many of y'all willing or going to purchase the pay-per-view? Drop a fire emoji. We got Roger W. said he gonna purchase. Shout out to Roger W. We would love to see you in there. Juan Torres said he gonna do it. What is Corey Mayo's trip? Man, it's a lot to deal with Corey Mayo, man. He goes back a couple years in this community coming around at the inception of it. I got live streams with Corey Mayo. Those that may not know, I got tons of live streams with Corey Mayo in my early days of YouTube and Aboriginal information. I might even upload some of those for you guys. Shout out to everybody that's in the building. Can I get everybody to thumb up the video, support the channel? How y'all feeling? Like UB News? See what's going on. Is the pay-per-view on Zoom? I hope not. No, it's not on Zoom. It's going to be done the way Aboriginal Power does his pay-per-views. It's going to be done on the way I did the Not a Coincidence and the American Gods pay-per-view. So you'll be able to purchase this via Cash App or PayPal. You'll be able to purchase the pay-per-view through via Cash App or PayPal, and you will have a link sent to your email, but it's not going to be through Zoom. Make sure you guys support the channel. Who else we got in here? Corey Mayo and his laptop. Yeah, Corey Mayo raised $10,000, asking the people in his chat, his followers, to help donate for a new computer. And I think they raised $12,000. Allegedly, computers cost a little more in Costa Rica. Obviously, they cost a little more in Costa Rica. Hell, y'all can donate to me to help me get a fucking 3D printer. We can start 3D printing houses for Aboriginals. How about that? Let's buy a fucking 3D printer warehouse and just start printing out houses for Aborigines. How about that? You understand me? Shout out to Gerard Smith for exposure of George Washington, Bambaataa. Yeah, George Washington is the original Bambaataa. Who did he touch? Bambaataa touched Hassan Campbell. Well, who did George Washington touch? Promise Hall. He touched Promise Hall. Yes, he is the original Bambaataa. George Washington is the original Bambaataa. Shout out to my brother Gerard Smith for the $5 Cash App donation. as well. Shout out to Roger W for the $10 Cash App donation. We appreciate that. Shout out to Roger W for the Cash App donation. Make sure y'all show my boy Roger some love in the chat. The brother always show love and supporting the channels. Make sure y'all show him some extra love in the chat. Let me chop it up with the family in the chat. Let's see what's going on. About one time you showed a symbol that had a vertical line in a U arc at the top and it was inverted at the bottom. A chick said it looked like Pisces symbol. What was that symbol? I'm not for sure. You have to show me. I don't know, man. I don't know, man. I got thousands of hours of videos on YouTube. Hell, I got over 1,000 live streams, and I rarely do it. Just an hour live stream. So you imagine how many hours I got dedicated. I don't know. You have to remind me, brother. Corey Mayo on his laptop. Y'all funny with that one. Hey, man, but no, man. I have no ill will or hatred towards any indigenous Aboriginal anywhere across the planet. I only have issues with brothers that take out what we talk about and the truth that we put out. You know, because it is truth. And some people don't like the truth. And that's just what it boils down to. Oh, shit. Damn. Shit. Shout out to everybody in the building. God damn. Need a little bit of my drink, goddamn. We're gonna get it together. Goddamn. Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. Shout out to Earth 2 Wiz in the building. Yo, Shaw Fakey. What's going on? See, we got some new subscribers that's in the chat that I haven't seen. Good to see y'all in here. All my new subscribers, man, I want to say appreciate y'all for subscribing. I want to say appreciate y'all, the support. We really appreciate that, man. Stick around. Y'all now part of the Aboriginal notification game, man. Y'all now part of the game, man. So it's good to see y'all in here, man. Shout out to all the new subscribers. But I do want to kind of get into this video dealing with one of my old heads. We're going to break this down in just a second. We're going to get to it. But I need y'all to drop them fire emojis in the chat. I need y'all to let me know y'all extra active. What's the vibes? What's the vibes? Y'all extra active in the chat? What's up with it? Big Bap just smashed 2 Pan-Africans in a month. YK got smashed. Rodborn got smashed, bro. Like, what's up, man? Big Al been holding it down for the Indians, the American Indians and the Aborigines. Exposing Pan-Africans as we doing it. Exposing a whole system. White boy frauds, Masons, Zionists, CIA. You see what I'm saying? That's the umbrella that Africans and African studies and Pan-African falls up under. The apostolistic authorities. We exposing their hand. That's why they been upset. We ain't seen Pan-Africans this hyped up talking about Aborigines in years. We ain't seen these niggas hyped up in years. Big Al came over there, smashed 2 of them up like it wasn't shit, and now they all on wolf tickets. Now they selling wolf tickets. You see what I'm saying? No, we can't allow these niggas just to step up in our spot while we riding. We seen them already try to go at one of the good brothers. Yeah, they try to go at a couple of the good brothers. We ain't been worrying about no fucking Pan-African. We've been building Aboriginal consciousness. Y'all done had 100 years to build. Now y'all can go out terrorizing other people's perspectives. Let us build, bro. Y'all done had 100 years at this shit. Y'all done had 100-year run at this shit. That's what I'm trying to tell you. It's inedible, bro. It's an evolution, bro. Change, bro. This is part of the evolutionary process, bro. You're not going to stay a Pan-African forever. The masses is going to change. You stop claiming the word black is an evolutionary move, not a revolutionary move, an evolutionary move. You stop calling yourself black and understand that you're a copper color. You're the bronze people. You're aboriginal to this land. You're aboriginal to whatever land that you come from. You understand me? The revolution would never be televised. The revolution is this African shit that they put into you. The evolution is you understanding that you're not that. That's the evolution. That's the true evolution, man. You want to know what evolution is? Evolution is when you're able to look at these people and understand that they're aligned, man. The same Native Americans that have been trying to attack us and on who we are in our history are the same Native Americans that's teaming up with the other people who've been attacking our history, which is Pan-Africans. You find Native Americans and Mexicans and all these fucking Asians, right? These Mongoloid motherfuckers teaming up with Pan-Africanism. They use the same talking points the Pan-Africans use. The Pan-Africans swapping talking points with the natives. They are both teamed up to try to eradicate who we are. Once you understand who formulated this African movement, once you understand who signified and hyped up these Mongoloid people from thinking that they're the original people of this land, knowing that's a goddamn lie. This information had already been around. You're not going to tell me no people that this is some motherfucking people's land that in your story, according to the motherfucking colonizer, according to the white man, they even tell your motherfucking ass that you came from somewhere else, doing a barren fucking straight. You're not going to be able to take ownership of a land when your story starts off with you coming from somewhere else. That nips it out the bud. Y'all run around talking about the Mayan people got died off. You got to be a fool to think some shit like that, man. I wish we had some Aborigines in here listening to Big Aboriginal Power today. You got to be a motherfucking fool to think some retarded shit like that. That all of a sudden the people that you see on these bomb apart murals, Temple of the Wars, are not the people that was there. They already described. They saying these people show what they look like, talk about who they are, even draw what they look like, but that ain't what they really look like, according to the white man. If you believe that shit, man, you a goddamn fool of your goddamn self. You mean to tell me all of a sudden, these people that you say came from the Barren Strait are the people that all of a sudden popped up down here in this Mayan era? In that same sentence, y'all like to say, well, no, there ain't no indigenous Mayans left. They died. Which one is it? Pick one. Pick a fucking story and stick with it. Either the Mayans died off or these niggas that you call them Mongoloids are the Mayans now. Which one is it? It can't be both. Y'all giving us both stories, man. You're giving us both stories, man. You're saying one story, the Mayans died off. The next time is the Mongoloid people down there that you see in them areas are the Mayans. Them people are not Mayan, man. They've been hyped up by the European man who've been lying to you, telling you who you are, who've been telling other brothers and sisters, forcing them under servitude. They becoming sellout Negroes, feeding you this African bullshit, and you wonder why you ain't got full yet. You wonder why you ain't energized yet. You wonder why you ain't got no resources inside of your body because the shit that you feeding you is garbage. It was garbage from its inception. It was garbage from its inception. So I'm not sitting here letting motherfuckers deal with who we are, man. Pick one, man. Pick one and choose, man. Pick one and choose, man. You Native Americans, man, running around here talking about this is y'all shit. All I see is Asian-looking motherfucking Mongoloid-looking people running around. Oh, we the Aztec, we the Mayan people, we the Toltec. Them ain't your fucking people, man. Y'all stealing them people history, man. They documented who they are. They wrote who they are. You understand me? They depict who they are, man. You understand me? And it don't match the phenotype that y'all doing with. This is destruction, man. We're talking about. We talking about destruction at its finest, man. And all these guys play a part to it. This ain't this. Y'all think that America and foreigners think this. And most of you sellout fucking Negroes think that this is the land of the white man. And before it was the white man's land, it was a mongoloid land. Y'all got this fucked up idea that America has no station, no signifying ethnicity, no race, no heritage, no particular look, no phenotype that's attached to it. Every other place in the world got a certain look to it. You go to Asia, you see Asian people. You go to Africa, you see African people. And we can identify those by what they look like. You mean to tell me that America does not have no signifying look, no basic look, no understanding look, established look that is defined here? You must be a damn fool. And if you're listening to me now, you think that you have been duped, brother. I'm sorry. I'm here to wake you up. You have been duped. They told you that you got put on the slave ship. They told you that these Native Americans was Mayans. But when you look and see this shit yourself, you don't see no slave stories in your history. When you look down there at the Mayans and the murals and the historical evidence, they don't mimic the people that's there. It don't mimic the people that was there, man. Aboriginal people, man, when you keep talking about this black shit, this blackity black shit, this Tariq Nasheed, blackity black, man, when you going to stop using the word black, man? When you going to evolve, man? When you going to be doing some evolutionary shit? Telling the people, listen, man, we are not black, man. We're Aboriginal, man. We're copper colored people, man. We're bronze hair, man. Why the fuck would you connect to some shit all the way that has no place connected to it, no literature besides death and destruction attached to it to call yourself that, man? When the 1828 Webster Dictionary of an American called these people copper colored, bronze colored people here, man. Bronze colored people here, man. And y'all sitting around lollygagging, running around thinking that this is the land of the white man, that America is the white man land. No, it's not. Just because these sellout Negroes, I'm starting to think that the word white is code word for foreigner. Yeah. The term white is code word for foreigner because the Asian come over here under white. The Italian come over here as white. The African sometimes come over here as white. The Haitian come over here as white. The Spanish come over here as white. They all come over here in white and they all foreign to this land and they all work under the same umbrella. I'm starting to peep the game. White is a code word for foreigner, for immigrant, for invader, man. Straight up. And we can't get that term because we're not invaders. I'm peeping the game, man. White, it got to be the code word for foreigner. And on paper, you would think, okay, look, it does say all these white people in America. Nigga, that's statistically. And statistically, 42% of these white people are in fact melanated people. When you see them today, you be like, what's up, my brother? Oh, that's a Dominican. Oh, that's an Asian. These people not even white for real. White means immigrant, man. It means invader, man. Facts, man. The fucking East Indian come over here and they come over here white and they willing to do anything that the motherfucking man got to say, that these colonizers got to say, knowing they can be sent back. Just as well as they formulated a bill or funded their way to get over here, they can get them the fuck up out of here. And these people be willing to do anything to stay over here, even if that's got to put your foot on these niggas' necks, like we telling you. And that's what we seeing around here, man. And it ain't all white folks. It ain't all Asian folks. We're talking in general, and I ain't got time to pick and choose. You see what I'm saying? And so when we look at this shit, man, they disregard the whole history of who we are, man. They've been overlooking it, man. This is part of the apostolic authorities. Anything that was not of the Christ, of the great Jesus, God, the Bible, the apostolic authorities, which everything we did in naturally was not a part of that. Everything we did naturally wasn't that. So anything we did naturally that was here would have been eradicated. It would have been wiped away. These people would have tried to insert and other shit. And we see our people being victims of this shit, man. To the point where you looking at a fucking mongoloid Mexican, man, who came over here attaching themselves to your history, and you don't say a fucking word when they say it. You go tell the next man about the story, but don't never have your own opinion of why they are saying that this is their culture. It can't be their culture. That can't be their culture. This shit got me pissed off, man. Cause I be sitting around watching these motherfucking Mexicans, man. Oh yeah, we the Aztec homes, and they be arguing with us. As if they didn't come over here, as if we don't see the Asian in them. As if we don't see the Asian with him. We know what make up y'all phenotype. How I know? Because I was watching Breakfast Club the other day. And this just caught me off guard. I'm watching it. Angelique Yee talking about her family. Yeah, my dad black, but my mom them is Asian and black. I'm like, damn, I thought she was Latino or Hispanic. So that just let me know that a Negro stock from America mixed with some Asian stock creates what we call Latino and Hispanic culture, man. Angela Lee look like a Spanish lady. She's not even Spanish. She's black and Asian. When I look at a Mexican, I see Asian. Am I tripping? I just want to make sure I ain't tripping. We all know that in the 1500s, just like in the 1600s in America, in North America in the 1600s, they took the prisoners from Europe and sent them over here. But what they don't tell you is in the 1500s in South America, Brazil, and other spots, they sent Chinese and Asian prisoners to that place. All the criminals were sent to South America from Asia. See, they don't tell y'all that. You understand what I'm saying? They don't tell y'all that. Hey, never hungry again. We done smoke YK. We smoked him. The poll said if he want another fade on something, we can smoke him on whatever. So what I'm saying is they don't tell you about the peoples that came in there. I just sparked it, nigga. I just sparked it. Chill out, Lucky. I just sparked it, nigga. Yeah, so they'll tell you about certain stories, but why you think that this whole Barron Strait shit ain't never really promoted in public? Like this ain't no mainstream talking point shit right here. Let me hit this motherfucking wood. Why y'all think that, man? Why do y'all think that the Barron Strait story is not promoted and popularized and mainstream like it should be? This is their story. Because once they tell you that some niggas came from somewhere else, you can't say that this is their shit. You can't use their look for the phenotype for this place. We got to find somebody that's original, who's predates them here, that phenotypes is the originator of here. So there's confusion. Even the science now says modern Native Americans does not look like the first Americans. And so what I'm telling you is the Native Americans and the Pan-Africans all in the same school, man. All right, we'll set it up, YK. We'll set it up. We'll set it up. Hit my email. Leave your number. We'll get Truth and shit on the line. We'll set that shit up. Because Truth don't be on all the time. So just hit me up or call my number. My number on the screen. That definitely be a pay-per-view. We'll put a couple cards on one pay-per-view. But nah, man. We about to get into some shit, man. I'm about to play some shit from my old here real quick. Let's get it.
It's not only
You like my motherfucking wood.
white people that'll have a problem. It's gonna be the Latinos. It's gonna be your Pan Africanists. It's gonna be all these people who are working in concert. I was watching this thing with Tariq Nasheed. He had a march in D.C. or some sort of thing in D.C. Some gathering in D.C. and one of my wives watched it, and she said, "Oh, I didn't even want to see it because I kind of figured what it was going to be," and I was right. All throughout it, black, 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 and strong black hands, give a strong black. Those people are paid to do that. That's programming. That's programming. Strong black this, black that, black, black, black. Do you know that you don't even have to say African American no more? Black is the connection to it. Let's just say people did away with African American and just said, because the beast ain't gonna do away with that. So let's just say it went away. Black is gonna forever link you to Africa. You see, black is gonna forever link you to Africa. Okay? And if black links you to Africa, then it disconnects you from your ethnic American roots. It disconnects you from the people who were the true power of this land, the people who were in this land for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. And I'm literally not joking. Just the Mayan Empire alone is 3,000 years old. Just the Mayan Empire. You do know that these empires ran, consecutively. You see, consecutively, meaning that they ran behind each other. They wasn't running neck and neck with each other. You had these different civilizations that have been in America for thousands of years. Now, you count that to the time the white man has been here. You count that to the time the white man has been here in America. He hasn't been here no more than maybe 400 or 500 years. Let's give him 500 years. And we got civilizations that are 3,000 years old. Civilizations that are 3,000 years old. Hell, the Mayans, they found Mayan ruins here in North America, and they was 1,100 years old. That's not even counting what they had 3,000 years ago over in Mesoamerica, in South and Central America. Then you talk about the Aztec. Look at how old their empires and their societies and governments are. What does that tell you? What does that tell you? That tells you that we are, by nature, we are supposed to be by nature, we are supposed to be the rulers of this land. We are supposed to be the ones in charge in this land. That's what that tells you. You see, we've been here longer. We had civilization established way before them. In fact, the beast could not even have started his civilization without the descendants of the Mesoamericans as slaves. He couldn't even have did this. He needed the people who had the battery in their back to build those civilizations, to build his United States of America today. They needed us. You see, even Donald Trump, he can sit up here and say, blacks, y'all did a lot more than you giving credit for building America. He even know. He said y'all did a lot more, and he didn't have to say that. Not that I'm giving no props to him, but even the devil will tell the damn truth sometimes. He's like, you black, y'all not giving. He said y'all not giving as much credit as y'all need to be given for this country. You see, because he know more than what even so-called black people know. Trust me, all of those presidents, all of those people in government, they're schooled on the history of this country, the real history, not the fake history they tell you. They know the fake history, but they know the real. But they really know the real history, who the real Americans are. You don't think they sat up here and said, well, who is the copper-colored races? Why is that? Who is these were the Americans? And they know it's not the Indians. They know it's not the Indians that's being described in that 1828 Merriam-Webster dictionary. They know that's our people. They know that's our people being described. You see? And so the rabbit hole gets even deeper. So when they say, you know what,
We can't have these people who are native to the land, who have a track record of establishing civilizations in this land, functioning high levels, because when you look at the Mayans and how they built things, you look at their civilizations was ahead of what America was building, right? Like when they started, just they ruins they left behind was pretty much not too far from the level of what we got today. You look at the buildings and things like that, the structures, and those are civilizations all over. They built all over the place. And all the beasts did was bury on top of that. All they did was bury on top of that stuff. They let it go because it'll be it'd be the same thing like let's just say the beasts abandoned New York. Let's say the beasts abandoned New York, right? They left New York, they left wherever. You know what would happen? You know that the greenery would just overgrow everything. Greenery would grow all over everything, all over the bridge. Greenery would just start to grow. And it would submerge this city. And then let's say another group of people come and say they rediscovered this place and wanted to build on it, and they build on top of what has been covered until they decide to dig and they start finding stuff from this time. That's the same thing that happened here. And they discover it now. They're discovering all the Mayan cities, all the Mayan, and like I said, we need to take a trip to go see these mound cities in Georgia. We need to take trips, even after we go do the Mexico thing, we need to take trips to go start seeing these mound cities in Georgia.
And we about to start mobilizing the information. I ain't gonna lie, this is a good build, man. The old head go in, he listened to the live stream. Shout out to him. He got his own shit going. Shout out to the OG. He's an elder, but he dropping some heat. Let's finish listening to everybody, to the brother in the chat, man. Shout out to everybody that's in the building too, man. We got 164 in here. We almost at the hour marker. We're at 45 minutes in this live stream. I need everybody to share this on all your social media outlets. Share it on Twitter, tag me in. Share it on Instagram, tag me. Share it on Snapchat, anything, TikTok, tag me, man. We turning up. I need everybody to support the channel. Also, man, Cash App and PayPal information at the bottom of the screen. Make sure y'all support the channel, man. We supporting all Aboriginal platforms. Don't forget the $5 challenge is in effect. Don't forget to support all Aboriginal platforms by supporting the $5 challenge, man. So I do want to shout out a few people that did take the time out to support Big Aboriginal Power in this channel, man. We're gonna keep this shit going. We're gonna keep cooking. Shout out to Kevin Gilbert for the $5 cash out donation. Shout out to Sabby G for the $3 cash out donation. We appreciate that. Shout out to Kevin Gilbert and Sabby G. Also, shout out to Rodney Gilmore Jr. for the $25 cash out donation. He said, for the passion is on 100. Appreciate it, man. I always got a lot of passion with this shit, even though it might seem like it. When you do this shit for 6 years consecutively, not giving this shit a break on YouTube, constantly building with people, constantly dealing with ridicules, constantly dealing with attacks, constantly dealing with certain other shit, man, it does get tiring mentally, and it could be draining. But having you brothers around, you sisters around with the right energy, just make it all more better and make the shit keep going, man. We got a lot more work to put in. The shit do get tiring, the shit do get rough, you do hit dead spots, but you know what I'm saying, we're here to uplift one another. So I appreciate you guys for tapping in. Shout out to everybody in the building. Make sure y'all support the channel. We're gonna get back to this heat.
Illinois and places like that. I can't believe that a lot of these goddamn so-called pro-black Pan-Africanists ain't point, because they supposed to be such scholars and historians. You mean to tell me they don't know about these mound cities? That's not nothing new. That's not nothing new. The one they found with 1,100 years ago in Georgia, that's relatively new, but they've been finding these mound cities all over the place. Why haven't these pro-black Pan-Africanists been taking pilgrimages to these places of our people? Because there's no way they can sit up here and believe that these Mongoloid Indians are those Mayan people from 1,100 years ago. Because how the hell you gonna call yourself an historian and you believe that? You know, there's so much truth out there. You gonna tell me they didn't see the Bone and Park temples? You gonna tell me that Dr. John Henry Clark, Dr. Yosef Ben Yakin, and all these guys who talk about who such historians, they always want to tell us about Egypt and Africa and all this other shit. They always want to do it, but they don't tell us about our heritage here in America. Those people will put out to distract us and throw us in another direction so that we wouldn't know that we are the real Americans, that we are the real ethnic Americans. They are a part of the burial of our heritage and history. These Pan-Africanists. As we come forward with this knowledge, they're going to be like our enemies, man. These niggas are going to turn into our enemies. Why? Because they are emotional. They are emotionally attached to blackness. They are emotionally attached to Pan-Africanism. They are emotionally attached to red, black, and green. So people who
I agree with what the brother just said. You know what I'm saying? Let me run that back.
throw us in another direction so that we wouldn't know that we are the real Americans, that we are the real ethnic Americans. They are a part of the burial of our heritage and history. These Pan-Africanists. As we come forward with this knowledge, they're gonna be like our enemies, man. These niggas are gonna turn into our enemies. Why? Because they are emotional. They are emotionally attached to blackness. They are emotionally attached to Pan-Africanism. They are emotionally attached to red, black, and green. So people who are like that, people who are this red, black, and green thing, people who are willing to sell out to promote more black BS to our people, like you did, Tariq Nasheed. You and all them people out there at that damn FBA thing, black, 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 and strong black, black, black. Come on, nigga. Y'all ain't y'all that's y'all putting on. Y'all putting on. You niggas don't live that, but you know how you know what that's like? It's like these niggas, the Boule Coons, they put on the dashikis, and talk all that Pan-African crap. But I told you, under them dashikis is them brown pants. Remember them brown pants? And them brown ass shoes on black shoes, right? And they white woman at home, they white and they bar them they.
Right, that shit is the truth. That all that shit that Pan African movement bring is nothing part of the church. It's the church. These are missionaries. Make you feel good with no tangibles and make you go right back to this plantation for the white man the first thing Monday morning. That's what Pan-Africanism brings. They haven't brought anything tangible, man. That's the apostolistic authorities. They working with the goddamn Jesuits. They with little Taco and little Cilantro now stealing your culture, eradicating it, trying to subdue us and ignore the fact that we've been here and that we're not black.
Biracial children under all that black talk. You see, they out here to mislead our people. And you see these guys today. They all out there in full force. You see, they're not pointing our people to the truth about who we truly are. They're not doing that. You see, the beast pays them to mislead our people. To tell our people, oh, look to Egypt. Look to Africa. Look to Mars and Venus. Not to where you actually had civilizations set up here in America. Don't look here. Don't look to the place where you were the first people to walk on this land. The first people to build on this land, the first people that put the civilization here in this land, society for them. And these immigrants to come over here, y'all want to act like y'all not that. See, because you got your so-called historians, they got you looking at Egypt and walking around with damn umps and talking about black, red, and green. You see, that's what they got you doing. They got you walking around in a damn fantasy state. Here it is. We tell you bronze, copper colored. We copper colored, brother. We bronze, sister. We bronze. Oh no, I'm black. Oh no, see, I'm black. How you going to talk to people like this? How you going to raise the people who are mentally ill, who are delusional? How you going to raise the people who are mentally ill and delusional? I'm showing you something black next to your skin. You niggas can't even pass the black test. You can't even pass the black test. Y'all gone. And you see, these guys out here, they doubling down because the message is out. The message is out.
I haven't seen one nigga pass the black test, nigga. But we pass the copper and the bronze test every day. Put a penny next to a nigga. Anybody in America, nigga, that claim to be a Negro, I can put a penny next to him. They gonna pass the copper test. None of you blackity black African ass niggas have passed the black test, nigga. Let me put my motherfucking black Scully up. Let me put my motherfucking black Air Force Ones up to your raggedy ass skin. Nigga, ain't nothing black about you niggas. You only thing black is your mind, bro. And that's because of an infected, molded case, man. It's deteriorating, man. Use that motherfucking head besides a hat rack. You got something valuable inside of it. I know the colonizer didn't tell you, but I'm telling you. You understand what I'm saying?
Like I told you, we discovering and waking up to our heritage. The message is out. You see, people ain't buying into the slave shit no more. People ain't buying into the slave shit no more. You know, I have a bunch of hecklers that come in my comment section on High and Mighty Talks. You know, you get these people that come in here, these Latinos, they want to come in here, and some of them come on and see the pictures. They come and say a little something. So now they sitting up here, they got the nerve to act like we taking their culture. Because the so-called white men, been telling them that you guys are
I'm not saying our people not black on paper and that we don't get classified as a social status. When we're talking black and white, we're talking social status. White social status. That's why an Asian and a nigga from Haiti and a Puerto Rican and Africans can come over here under white. Black is a status. Yeah, we're black on paper. Don't mean that's who we truly are. When we identify ourselves, and we got to get comfortable by using social terms and making these social terms fundamental and urban and having the same appliance to the legal terms. So when we say we're Aboriginal, we're copper color, we're bronze people, we're playing to the ethnicity, established race, the phenotype, the established look that is mentioned when you're talking about America. When you're talking about America, you get into what an American is, and that's talking about copper color, bronze color people, our people. You see what I'm saying?
You guys, the Aztecs and the old Mexicans.
Yeah, we're black on paper, you know what I'm saying? But we not black people lineagely, we're not black people heritagely. You see what I'm saying? We're black people socially, and it's okay to call ourselves various different social shit. You understand me? We call ourselves gods, peace God. You know what I'm saying? So we use social terms.
Inca and the Mayan people. See, you guys are. See, look who lives there now. You guys live there now, so you must be the descendants of those people. But they just forgot the beast told you that all the descendants of those people died off. That's what the beast told you. He said that the descendants of the Olmecs, the Aztecs, the Inca, the Mesoamerican people, he pretty much said all of the Mayans, all the people died out. But then they resurrected a bunch of mongoloid-looking Asians that live over there today. Now these are the Mayans. Which one is it? Did the Mayans die out? Or but then you find they made their way to America. So how they die out? You found their ruins in America. So now the white man had to scramble and try to shake and bake and try to figure out how he's gonna cover it. Because see, the first lie was they died out. The white man killed them all off, and they just died out on their own. That was the first lie. Second lie, but then now you get the so-called Mexicans today, the little brown-looking straight-haired ones who got mongoloid Asian in them, the fake, the fake Mayans, the wannabe Mayans, the wannabe Mesoamericans. Now they trying to claim our heritage. I'm pointing to the damn wall. You pointing on the wall. You see all bronze people, all bronze men and bronze women on those walls, but they got the nerve to sit here and say that's them. They got the nerve to say that's them. So here's another group of people who are delusional as hell. Here's another group of people who are delusional. They just as crazy, and they when you crazy like that, when you mentally ill like that, when you're so invested in your beliefs that you're willing to sit up and lie in people's faces, you're willing to deny proof. You're sitting up here saying you're those people on the wall. That we African, but that's y'all on the wall. That don't mean nothing, or they ain't really black, or they ain't really. You sit.
Yeah, they say all the strangest shit when it comes to the Mayan murals, the Bomber Park. No, them ain't really black people, even though they call themselves black. The invaders call themselves black. They depict themselves as black, but no, nigga, them niggas not black. And y'all let these Mexicans come in right up under y'all feet and say, look, we're brown. That's it. That's our people, Holmes. Knowing you look just like Jackie Chan. Knowing what none of that shit going on in Mongolia, man. Wasn't shit like that cracking in Asia, boy.
There's another group of people who are delusional as hell. Here's another group of people who are delusional. They just as crazy, and they when you crazy like that, when you mentally ill like that, when you're so invested in your beliefs that you're willing to sit up and lie in people's faces, you're willing to deny proof. You're sitting up here saying you're those people on the wall. That we African, but that's y'all on the wall. That don't mean nothing, or they ain't really black, or they ain't really. You sit up here believing that the people look like them on the wall. See, they look just like us. See, they look just like us. But when it's us, They just was using dark color that day, or or it just ain't what it looked like. They wasn't just because they looked like that on the wall and because they said they looked like that and painted themselves and carved themselves like that. That ain't how they really look. This is what you dealing with. All these dumb niggas that come in the damn chat and they'll step here and they'll come in and think to them, oh brother, where your proof at? Brother, where the proof at? All this stuff on YouTube. They don't want no proof. They just trying to be facetious. They don't want no proof. They don't want no proof. Argue about being African. That's what they want. They already got their mind made up that we African, and because the white man said it, that's what it is. That's what it is. That whole out of Africa theory by two Caucasian Zionists, Boaz, which is a Masonic terminology. Boaz France, Boaz, and the other guy, Hemlet. And then they got this coon Sambo, W.E.B. Du Bois, this gray mulatto, this mulatto gray to get in on him with him, and he was a sodomite. You see, they got them there. These are your creators of the out of Africa theory. These people who made up this BS about all life started in Africa and we from Africa. Because you see black people in Africa, all black people from Africa. Don't matter if it ain't the same people. It's the games they playing, man. The beast wants our place so bad. He wants to be the Americans. He wants to be all the things that we once were. He wants to become. He wants to be American. He'll sit up here and call himself an American and just totally forget his ass is not native to America. They'll sit up here and call themselves Native American, mix them with these Mongoloid Indians, and both of these dumbasses are not American, are not native to America. The white man ain't native to America, and the so-called Mongoloid Indian sitting on the reservation, got his red ass on the reservation, he's not native to America. One is from Asia and one is from Europe. You see? But they just feel emboldened to call themselves America and talk about America's a white man's country. America's a white man's country. Then why the fuck are y'all fading out of America then if it's your country? Why are you sitting up here letting other races are calling them white if it's a white man country? You see, or is that code word for it? This is an immigrant country. Because white is code word for immigrant. You see, like the Mexicans are white. They classify as white, because white numbers, when they start to dwindle, when Caucasian numbers start to dwindle, then they decide who they're gonna let be white on the American census. Then they decide to let the Mexicans be white. They'll decide to let the Asians be white. Like before when the Irish, they let them be white. Because they needed to increase their numbers to control the natives, aka the niggas. They needed the white numbers to control the niggas. They needed to get the white structure in place. You see, that's what that was. You see, they needed to get the white structure in place. And like I said, these people, this is how you knew America was ours at one time. All this land was ours, and that we were the ones harvesting and growing this. So let's show you how racist these people are. Here it is. Remember I told you the guy, George Wallace or Bull Connor, one of these crackers and whatnot, one of these crackers from the 60s and whatnot, talking about, they'd rather see America get trampled. They said they'd rather see America go into foreign hands and get the flag taken down and anything. They said they'd rather see that happen than this country be in the hands of black people and so-called Negro. Now, why would you feel that way? Why would you feel that way? Answer: because their great-great-grandparents told them how it was when our people had everything. These niggas acting uppity, these niggardly people, these uppity niggers, they made us feel bad. We hate these niggas because we know once we give them, what they say, if you give the nigga an inch, they're going to take a mile. You give them an inch, they're going to take a mile. This is why they don't really want to give you no reparations. You see, because to give you reparations, to give so-called black people reparations, would then mean they're assisting in putting our people in power again. You see, because they know, you're going to have a bunch of dumb niggas that's going to throw away the money. They ain't going to do the right thing with it. See, their theory is that there's going to be a few ones that's going to do something smart, and the smart ones get together, and then they start saying, hey, well, you know what, why don't we put our money together and do, like, maybe start schools for our children. Maybe we should open this up. We should do this with our money, and maybe no, they're not trying to put you back in power. See, it's different when they give these immigrants money. You don't understand. It's different when they give these immigrants money. See, they could always send the immigrants back to where they came from if they get out of line. They could always deport them. You see, they could always deport the Asians back to China. They could always deport the Mexicans back across the goddamn border to Mexico. They could always send the Ukrainians' asses back to Ukraine. You see, they could always do that. They always see them people know they got to open in damn ticket. That ticket is go both ways. You ain't guaranteed no citizenship here in America that is under the beats. They'll make sure your ass is on another plane up out of here. See, that's what they do with the immigrants. So that's why the immigrants come here and they willing to do whatever the beats want them to do. If it ain't coming down on niggas and being part of proxies under their system of so-called white degeneracy, then they with it. They with it. You mean to tell me I get here and I get help and I get all this stuff? I just got to get down with the club to defend this country against the niggas, to defend the country against the niggas, the natives. That's all I got to do. Yeah, you want a job with the police? You want a job with the police? You want a job with some law enforcement? Yeah, that's what they signed them for. That's why if you notice, you see a whole lot of Mexican cops. You're starting to see a whole lot of Latino cops, especially a lot of Mexicans. You're going to see a lot of that in New York and other places. You're going to start seeing a lot of Mexican cops. And they're going to be riding right around. They're going to put them right with the Caucasian ones. So they can, so the Caucasians could be they instructor on how to treat niggas. The Caucasian could be their instructor. They're going to put them with white boys, the old school white boys, so they can groom them. And then you'll see Sanchez pulling niggas out of the car and shooting you 50 times. Like how they did that guy who got shot by the Latino cop. You see, because them Latinos, they got a hate for our people, man. Them Latinos. You know why they got a hate for our people? Because they know we the Mayan people. They know we the real Mesoamerican. They know that. They know that. They don't like our people, man. They play both sides of the fence. They right along with the white man. They with the beast, man. I'm not talking about the black Latinos, but even like you black Latinos, a lot of y'all think y'all just Latinos and you don't think you niggas. You don't think you niggas. Even though the white Latinos treat you like niggas in your country, but you too stupid to see that. You sit up here, like a lot of you Dominicans, you niggas be dark as Ace of Spades looking like us with woolly hair and talking about you a dark-skinned Latino. Even you stupid ass Haitians, some of y'all do that. You stupid ass Haitians do that too. You think you Caribbeans too. You think you the same as the Latinos. Well, you not. Do you know how you know you not? Because when you niggas tried to come over here, you see what they did to you, right? You see when the Mexicans came over here, when you Haitians tried to come over here, you got your asses whipped on. The white man was on horses whipping you niggas like slaves. They was whipping y'all like slaves, running y'all, chasing y'all down. Probably killed a few of y'all, but they ain't want to cover that on the news. You see, they told y'all to turn y'all black asses back around and go back to Haiti. But they let the Ukrainians come over here. They let the Mexicans come over here. You know all the people, they got the new inductees into whiteness, the new inductees. You see the new inductees get let in, they giving your tax money to them. And they're gonna use them to bury you. That's why you see people like Fat Ho, he come up here talking about hip hop is 50-50. You know who he is? He's the guy, he's a lot of those what's them guys? He's the Red Indians. He's like the Red Indians who set up here and appropriated Mesoamerican culture and called it American Indian culture. You see? Because all the bows and the feathers and the arrows and all that other stuff, that's all Mayan stuff. That's all Mesoamerican stuff. Just the same way the Latinos saw us doing the b-boying and spray painting and graffiti and all that other stuff and the rapping. Now, all of a sudden, they 50-50. We was rapping and doing all that stuff. This guys, Latino guys, will get talking about, yeah, I remember the fur tangos and the shell-toe Adidas, and they're going to try to act like that came from them. Or that they was with so-called black people when they was doing that. No, they was not. You see, that's how they start to appropriate your culture. Something as small as hip-hop, they sitting up here talking about they 50-50. Really, next thing you know, 50-50 going to turn into all you niggas ain't part of it. We started hip-hop. See? That's just a foot in. That's what they did with the so-called Mongoloid Indians. That's nothing but fake Mesoamerican culture they do. That's their version of Mesoamerican culture, our heritage. That's what you're seeing. A watered down version of our culture and heritage. You know, and the so-called Mongoloid Indians, they know our people are the real Mesoamericans. They know that. They know, people know our history. They know our heritage, and they trying to conceal it. And the beasts don't mind paying to reinforce that message. They don't mind the paying to reinforce that message. They don't mind paying to reinforce that message. So pay attention to this. Pay attention to this. They want our people in a constant state of death. They want our people in a constant state of death. What do I mean by that when I say they want our people in a constant state of death? What I mean is they want our people to bury or want our history buried. They want our history to be buried. And when you bury a people's heritage and history, you put those people to death, man. You put those people to death. When you bury a people's culture, heritage, history, you putting those people to death. Represents death. Black represents death. And they have the bronze men, the bronze copper-colored people, cloaked in darkness, cloaked in blackness, calling themselves black people. Calling themselves black people. They have them cloaked in darkness, cloaked in blackness, calling themselves black people. And this is what's stopping our power from kicking in. This is what's stopping our power, our higher power, which is Amen, from kicking in. This darkness is stopping our higher power, our elemental power, from kicking in. You see, that's why I said we have to put a separation, because we already know all our people ain't coming with us. All our people just going to they just going to stay black, man. They're going to stay black because, like I said, they onto the heavy programming. They don't want to wake up. You see, you tell them right now, I don't see no black people out here. I see the copper-colored people. I see copper-colored people in the 1828 description of the Merriam-Webster dictionary. So if we are those copper-colored people, those bronze people, why the hell we calling ourselves black? You see all these pro-black niggas, they still willing to toe the line for the beast. They talk all this stuff because I said this before, I said the most evolutionary thing you could say, I don't say revolutionary, I said the most evolutionary thing you could say is that I'm not black. That's the most evolutionary thing you could say, and tell your people we not black no more. We ain't black. You see, like Joe Biden said, if you ain't vote for me, you ain't black. Well, I ain't vote for you, motherfuckers, and I ain't black. Or none of you damn devils. Raw and uncut. He just basically say, if you don't vote for me, then in other words, if you vote for me, then you stupid, because you're black. If you vote for me, you're stupid. Calling you black people is just their version of calling you stupid people. People who don't know their heritage, people who let another race of people call you something that they just made up out of their damn head. You letting people call you something they made up out of their damn head. You following that. But then you sit up here talking about, oh, when we gonna get free? Y'all sitting up here calling yourself black people, a classification that was given to you by white people. Then you Negroes sit up here going, when we gonna get free? Y'all still answering to Negro, black, and African American. Some false ideology, some false.
Hey, shout out to the brother Mentalect, man. He going in. Shout out to everybody that's in the live stream tuning in, man. We got 205 people in here. We just hit a little bit over the hour marker. Drop a fire emoji in the chat if y'all can hear everything clear with the audio. I want to make sure everything good. This brother going in, he dropping pure fact. This shit coming from the heart, y'all. Straight up. It's personal, man, and it should be personal to each and every one of you. When you got brothers that's sitting in your face, you got Mexicans that's working in your yard, that's going against trying to hide and disrupt and discard your history and who you are. Shout out to everybody in the building, man. Let's get some people to support the channel, man. Let's get a couple people to support the channel. We got 202 people in here. Let's get a couple people to support the $5 challenge today, man. Let's get a couple people to support. We're going to probably drop the link and do an open panel here in a second. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. Shout out to everybody in the building, man. Drop them fire emojis in the chat. Let's get a couple people to support the channel, man. Let's get back into this heat.
Another race of people call you something that they just made up out of their damn head. You letting people call you something they made up out of their damn head. You following that. But then you sit up here talking about, oh, when we gonna get free? Y'all sitting up here calling yourself black people, a classification that was given to you by white people. Then you Negroes sit up here going, when we gonna get free? Y'all still answering to Negro, black, and African American. Some false ideology, some false fantasy history of bringing 1 million of y'all over on slave ships. They just really insult the hell out of our people's intelligence, man. They really insult the hell out your intelligence. They insult the hell out of your intelligence. These low-level people, bro, they figured a way to bring millions of people over on slave ships across the Atlantic Ocean in wooden ships. Okay. And they miraculously made these people understand English, work, all this other stuff, right? These people wasn't killing themselves. They wasn't committing suicide. They weren't trying to kill these crackers. They weren't trying to do none of that. They just went along with it, and they taught them English, and they just beat them into submission, and they got them to build. That's what they want to sit up here and lie and tell you. This is what they want to sit up here and lie and say to you. You see? And like I said, our people fall for this. And when they fall for this, this is their heritage. They're allowing their heritage to be buried. You would have thought that upon our people hearing that we're not African, that we are the ethnic Americans, we are the Mesoamericans here in this country, we're the first people, we're native to this land, you would have thought that they would have just embraced it. I still don't get when bronze people don't want to embrace it. I'm like, I don't understand what the appeal is to Africa or blackness or nothing. I don't get it. Tell me what the appeal is. Tell me what the appeal is to Mama Africa. Because like I said, you do know all them people in Mama Africa are still under the so-called white man. That's even worse. That's even worse of an embarrassment. How y'all gonna sit here and call this your continent? You gonna sit here and call this your continent, right? And you in charge, and this is your country. In Beeson said it's your country, but this ain't your country. They run your country. See, at least here in America, people might say, well, that happened with y'all here in America. Well, see, here's the thing with that. We help them. And I guess y'all help them too. To rule over your people, to take hold of your people. Still acknowledge Africa is your continent. And it's supposed to be your continent, but the beast got control over your continent, over your monetary system, everything. The beast, they're supposed to be your country, your continent, whatever. These are all this y'all people's continent, but the beast still got his hand in y'all continent. He's still calling the shots. So remind me again why I should embrace Mama Africa. Remind me again why I should be a proud African when, according to y'all story, these people sold us into slavery. When it's with today.
Dr. Reggie Marbury. I'm gonna just say Reggie. Brother Reggie, man, listen, man, get out of here. If you ain't accepting no debates and no fades, get out the chat trolling, man. We done spanked you up years ago. Don't make me pull up the video where we spanked you up years ago, Dr. Reggie. And you're an old elder. We look at you as an elder. We don't want to beat on no elders too bad. But don't come around stomping now, because I do have a limit. From 8 to 80, you can catch a fade with these debates, man. From 8 to 80, blind, cripple, or crazy. You understand what I'm saying?
Hey, these same people come over here and act like they better than the people that's here. They don't stay in their country, but they claim their country's so good, and we are Katas and all this other dumb shit they say. You see, not knowing that most of these people are not even really African. They really ancient Americans. I told you, we know how the ancient Americans look, and we know how the tribal Africans look. The mass majority of people in Africa are not from there. They are ancient Americans of ethnic descent, as ancient ethnic American people. People who went into Africa, but they're really native to America. You got a lot of that. You got a lot of our people go to Africa. Again, our people was going into Africa and just living there, traveling all over, setting up shop. Some was moving away from the Caucasians and the Asians. So that's how they went and got into Africa, a lot of them. You see, a lot of them left America, and a lot of them went north. A lot of them went left out of America. Some of them went into Africa. Some of them.
See, a lot of people don't tell y'all that. That's what these Pan Africans don't teach. They'll romanticize you with Nile Valley science when there's no science in the Nile. They'll romanticize about Egypt when the science of Egypt came from the West. So all their whole stories has been fabricated as a feel good. You have never seen a Pan African argue with none of the Egyptologists that claim that these are not black people. We already done spanked up the debates, the Native Americans, Brother Reggie. You know, we had real Native Americans and we had a real debate and smoked their ass. They came back again with a doctor, an actual doctor, and smoked their ass again. The gig is up. You can't go around truth. See, you're gonna evolve one time in the last time of your life, Brother Reggie, and it's gonna be to the Aboriginal consciousness. It's inedible. This is the evolutionary process. You're stuck, bro. And if you want to learn about Aboriginal culture, I'm going to drop the link and I'm going to allow you to come on and I'm going to teach you about Aboriginal culture.
Our people came even further into North America, like I said, which is the origin of our people here in North America today, the real origin. But make no mistake about it, we was always here in America, always. Always. The beast wants you to believe that America has no ethnicity, it has no nationality of people. That's a load of horse crap. And they want you to believe that these Mongoloid Indians who crossed the Bering Strait, again, this is why they don't make that public about the Mongoloid Indians crossing the Bering Strait, because see, once they know that you come from someplace else, then you can't claim native. The Mongoloid Indians can't claim native because they come from someplace else. They don't never want to touch on that history. They never want to tell you where the Mongoloid Indians really come from. It's already out. The white man told on y'all. Be mad at the white man. He told on y'all. He even said that y'all not really natives. He said that. He said that y'all not natives to America. He said y'all crossed the Bering Strait and came into America. And so when you came and you crossed the Bering Strait and you came into America, you didn't bring the bow and the arrow and that feather culture with you. You didn't. No, you learned that someplace else, because what was in Mongolia, what was in Mongolia and in Asia, what was there? Y'all was basically living like Asians. You was living like Asians. So the bows and arrows and all that stuff, that's what you picked up over here in the Americas when you came amongst our people. When you started coming amongst our people, that's what you picked up amongst our people. That wasn't that culture. They come over here and they just take on culture. You know how you prove that? Look at your Latinos. Again, perfect example. See, history always repeats itself in this third dimensional realm. Look at your Latinos. Your Latinos come over into America. I'm talking about your straight hair Latinos. They come over here into even though Puerto Rico is part of America, but you know they come over into the United States, or you know into the states. Puerto Rico is part of the states, but you know, places like New York and basically around our people. They come around our people, the Latinos, and at first they was on some whole, like they came over and they was acting like they was white. A lot of the Latinos, a lot of the Puerto Ricans, all them people, when they came over, they wasn't messing with our people. They didn't deal with our people. They lived in separate neighborhoods. So we lived next to each other, but we didn't really deal with each other at a time. They was on their race and stuff. They was thinking like they white. They was classified as white. The Mexicans, a lot of the Puerto Ricans, they was classifying themselves as white. And they didn't mess with our people. They called us all kind of morenos and all kind of other names, all kind of incendiary things they were saying to our people. But see, meanwhile, while they was calling us all kind of names, Mayate and all this, Moreno and all these other names, while they was calling it, they were stealing our culture. See, they were stealing our culture. They were sitting up here calling themselves Mayans, sitting up here calling themselves Aztecs, getting Aztecs. They sit up here taking our goddamn, see all these Latinos walking around here with damn Aztec Mayan tattoos, talking about Mayan culture. And they got you dumbass niggas talking about you African. You talk putting red, black, and green on. They just straight up appropriated basically house your culture and told you niggas y'all jungle dwellers. And be ready to fight you for it if you dare to stand up for the truth. Be ready to fight you for it. Damn to get physical over the truth. You see, because they don't want to embrace their mongoloid culture. They don't want to embrace it. It's very easy to show where they come from. Real easy. Real easy. To see people like Fat Joe, those are Asians, man. He's an Asian. He's Mongolian. He looks like one of them damn sumo wrestlers. Tell me Fat Joe don't look like a goddamn sumo wrestler. They built like them fat goops. Cool. 912. You on the air. Men back.
Can you hear me?
I get you.
Hey, shout out to everybody in the building, man. Make sure y'all hit that like button, man. Shout out to everybody that's in the building, man. I want everybody to thumb up the video. Support the channel, man. Support the channel, man. Support the channel. Let's get back to it, man.
America, they were very, very harsh here. So we didn't do all that mixing, which is good. In South America, that's why you see all of those mulattoes. There's like millions of them. Because there are millions of brown people that say, hey, they're okay, they're nice, we got a little bit of rights, we'll just fix it. You know, a lot of us ran up north in North America or further down south in South America, but you had a sizable amount that just stayed. That's why all those Chinese males were able to mix. Because there were no Chinese women. You needed the males for work.
Right. Yeah. And you see, if you look at the mix of a Asian, like look at the chick Angela Yee. You see the chick on the Breakfast Club, Angela Yee. Her father's Asian, her mother's black. She can go for a while.
Hey, I'm about to drop the link in the chat, so y'all get ready. I'm about to drop the link in the chat right now, man. Y'all hit the drop. Our pros can hit the link.
Get it on.
I ain't about to play that. Get my shit copy straight.
You see, because that's what we want. We want to take your place as the American. We want to chop up and slice up and dice up your culture, your heritage, and your true history, your thousand years of history, over, man, thousands upon thousands of years of history. We're gonna give that to other people. It ain't you niggas. Forget what was on the Bone and Park Temple. This is why we have to make sure we keep those pictures, and we got to preserve those pictures and make sure we have them, because it's going to come a time, because when the beast started, because see, the beast felt it was okay to keep the real pictures of how the Mayans look around. They felt it was okay because he figured you niggas ain't going to never connect the dots. Y'all ain't going to connect the dots. I put this pimp game down, this African pimp game down, this African slave game down so hard, you niggas ain't going to think that y'all the same people as those people on the wall. And if y'all do say it, I'm gonna just deny it. So the white man ain't hiding it, but you better. But what he does is, you know what he does? He'll leave all the old stuff up, and then he'll go and make new versions of it and put that out in the forefront. But he won't get rid of the old stuff. He'll just hide it behind them. Like, in other words, he don't never get rid of nothing out of history because there's so many copies and stuff. So he don't waste time to try to take it out of circulation. He'll try, but sometimes he don't even waste time. He'll leave it there just so he could pass on to his children to know about. But he'll leave it there. He'll leave the history there, but he'll paint new pictures. In other words, he'll have all those pictures redone to Mayans all Asian looking, or make documentaries and show all these Mayans and put together all those sets and all those things of Mayans and whatnot, and have them all as Asians. You see, same way they'll make all the Egyptians white. Just anything to erase your greatness, because see, what happens is, once you are connected to greatness, once you embody that, once you step into that, you start to regenerate that. You start to become that. So what do you do to stop these people from becoming who they're supposed to be, who they naturally are, as leaders, as rulers, as law and order makers and keepers and givers? How do you get these people to give up their crown? How do you get them to give up their crown seat? How do you get them to give up their place of position and power as overseers? You tell them they black. You tell them, you force them into blackness. You force them into darkness.
Yo, I'm gonna end this video right here. I will finish the rest of it tomorrow's live stream. Maybe even later on, we'll get the rest of that part two to that, man. We'll get to the rest of that conversation. Shout out to everybody in the building, man. The link is in the chat, man. I know some brothers in here have some questions on Aboriginal perspectives, who we are, what is our culture, what are we standing on, and you know, maybe have some more questions. You know, so shout out to all the Aboriginal people across the globe. We're connecting and we're uprising Aboriginal consciousness, going back to the organic form uh, from the time of existence. Shout out to my brother 111 Truth Searcher. What's going on, brother?
Man, AP, what's going on, brother? Man, shout out to you, man. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. Blessful Friday.
Yeah. Nice little Friday. Goddamn.
Nice content. Definitely feeling the build, what the brother was talking about.
Yeah, he dropping some heat. He dropping some heat.
Yes, sir.
That nigga dropping some heat. Shout out to Mentellect. Shout out to Mentellect, man. What's going on with it though, man? What's up with it?
Nah, man, man, just
Man, Africans been scared to catch these fades in these debates, man. They run around talking this Africa history and culture, civilization, and like Jabari and Reggie, but then, you know what I mean? What's up with it, man? You know what I mean? We want to see what's up with some of these fades, some of these guys. I know you've been wanting to get in the ring too, though. Truth, you know, I just smashed up on Rob Moore, so
yeah, man.
Trying to give me no more plates right now. So you know,
on the real, I want an evolution debate, bro.
Oh, that'll be a good one. That'll be a good one. You like to talk that talk too. Oh, we got Dr. Reggie in the building with us, man. Shout out to Reggie in the building, brother Reggie.
Peace to brother Reggie, man. How you doing?
I'm all right, family. How y'all doing, man?
We doing fine.
Blessful.
All right, that's good. That's good.
What's up, man? What's up?
What's going on, Superman? How you doing?
Man, I got my peace pipe, man. I'm not I'm not tobacco. I ain't coming to fight. I'm just coming to talk, and you know, I ain't fighting, yo. I'm too old, you know. I'm 58, man. I ain't trying to fight, man. You know, I got a few presentations, and so I just got a couple questions, right? Have any of y'all done your family history, meaning marked up your grandparents, your great grandparents, and your great great grandparents? Have any of y'all done that?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. How far? We just talking. How far have y'all been able to go?
One side 1812.
1812. And
the other side 1870.
okay, that's good. And from 1812 and 1807, those are good numbers now. Those are good numbers. How did you what did you use to get that?
My auntie actually got the family records that was passed down to her from her mother, from my great grandmother, which is my grandmother's niece. She actually still have both of the Bibles that have it's a Bible, but it's basically a genealogy book.
Yeah.
Where all the family names came in, even people that married into the family and had kids, marriage license, death certificates, obituaries, photos of family functions, things of that nature.
Yeah, so that's what our people would do. That's in fact what our people would do. We would store it sometimes in the Bible or sometimes in some other book and some papers, some old papers, and so those are good numbers. And so to get down to 1812, that's actually beautiful. It's beautiful in the sense that the difficulty of the records. So if you have family records, I respect that. You know, I have my grandparents, my mother's my mother's father, my mother's grandmother, another one of my mother's That's my mother's grandfather, by the way. This is my mother's grandmother. My mother's grandmother. My mother's father's mother. My father's father. My father's father. My father's mother. What else I got over here? Yeah. And I got some more. I got some more. So I know my family history. And I was born in Newport News, Virginia. And I'm only saying that because I'm just identifying from where I was born. I was born in Newport News, Virginia. My father's from Edgecombe County, Edgecombe County, North Carolina. Um, they call it Hopgood. And my mama is from Newport News, and her family, some of her family's from Hampton. Now, my mother's uncle, my mother's uncle what no sorry my mother's first cousin, his name is Calvin Pearson, and he was the one who discovered the first landing in Fort Comfort and now Fort Monroe in Hampton, the first place where Africans came uh, to the Americas, right? So and I'm just telling you some things about my family line and my mother's brother, Alfred Pearson, who I don't mess with. He married Ruby
There
Turner.
wasn't Africans that
Huh?
came. There wasn't Africans that came there in 1619.
Yeah, they were. It's in history. It's documented. Yeah, it was. It was.
You talking about the 20 some odd Negroes
Yeah. Uh-huh.
that
Yeah.
got snatched up
Yeah.
by
Yeah.
pirates
And
from ships that was sailing in the Caribbean Sea?
From the Portuguese.
yeah,
Yeah. Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah.
those Negroes, not Africans. I just want to correct you on that. But they've been
Okay.
later on changed to
You
that.
know, I'm on your show, so I'll let you rock with that.
No, it's
But
good. We good. You got free reign. You know what I'm saying? You
yeah,
good.
see, I'm different than a lot of other people because listen, I ain't Egyptian. I ain't Egyptian. I don't think I ever said that I was Egyptian. Those are just a group of civilization in Africa that spread civilization in Africa, and they had connections with uh, Central Africa, Chad, and then West Africa, Niger.
The
Uh,
Americas too, though, brother.
well, I don't know if they had ships to go across the ocean, the Atlantic Ocean. I've been to Africa, and the Atlantic on the African side is really really rough. So I would need to know what type of ships they came they came from. Uh,
Right. Nah, well, we just speaking on, some things that's kind of like overlooked in information when they speak about finds. They find certain things in certain tombs,
mhm,
buried with certain mummies that had things up in there that is indigenous to America. So,
mhm.
the only way that we can allude to how those things got there is, someone had to do some traveling. Whether if it came from one side or the other, it definitely was some traveling and some trade involved in order for those things to get found in those tombs.
Well, one day, when I'm just listening to what you. I ain't coming here to fight y'all. I'm just coming here to just to fact find and find out some of the information that you are talking about. Um, and so, when you say those tombs, what tombs in Mesoamerica? Where do you have where are these tombs at?
Well, we was speaking about, I thought we were speaking about Egypt. Uh,
Oh, so in each so yeah, in Egypt. Um, I know a lot about that civilization, but if anything, you have plants that they say, for example, tobacco, right, that may have come from the search is whether they came from Africa itself, is it an indigenous plant in Africa, or it came from somewhere else. To say that the Egyptians traded with the Americas, I don't have a lot of information on that. If you have some, I like you to share it.
Just for a fun fact, there is no indigenous tobacco plant that grows in Africa or any surrounding uh countries or continents around Africa as well. So,
Yeah. I don't. I am. Well, that's an open question, and so maybe together we can do some research. I'd like to see your research. The other, but we do know tobacco.
what about the cocaine that was also
Yeah,
found there as well?
yeah. The same with that. That's
Right.
that's an open question. That's an open question.
Right, and there's a various other crops that I would love to get into because there's a list, right? We got to get into what we're talking about pre-Columbian travel, right? From Americas possibly to Egypt. This is the conversation we're having.
Oh, Africa. Let's
To
just say Africa because
Africa, right? To Africa, right? Masons try to separate Egypt from Africa, right? We know that. So to Africa, we have these particular conversations, and there's literature on pre-Columbian oceanic voyages, and it talks about highlighted crops, and so there's a list of crops that's found in Africa that's used as dishes, traditional dishes in Africa, and those food crops are organic and native to the Americas, and they find their way in certain parts of Africa pre-Columbian, pre-contact. So,
Hmm. Well, there's some open holes, right,
right,
that need to be researched. So, um, however, in the ancient Egyptian catalog of artifacts, what Native American or what artifact would you say would come from the Americas into Egypt?
what particular artifact?
Yeah, yeah. Where what?
I couldn't give you one right off top. I'm probably
Yeah.
looking through my list of books that I have uh
Okay.
referenced and
So
such.
there's a few open questions, and I will say that. Um, but what I am concerned, and let me just tell you what my concern is, and I'm going to do a presentation, but I just want to check in. You know, I want to check into y'all. All right. So the question is, one is that the problem is with our peoples, even on the African American side that say that they have connections with Africa, is the stories that go down from our families and the things that we chose to keep and the things that we have forgotten. Um, in my studies, there's more connections with with people calling themselves Africans. I know I'm on your show and I'm not banging, right? Um, uh, um, Coming from Africa, and there's enough material buried in graves of the people who you call Aboriginal, but we call them African and African American. Those things are buried in many of the cemeteries with the people who passed away. In the context of the what do you call it, the burial grounds.
Y'all
So
refer to the Negro burial grounds, right?
yeah, 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 African burial
Can
grounds.
can I answer? Can I
Yeah,
answer your question
it
about
was
the
initially called the Negro burial grounds. It was later changed to African burial grounds. But you know,
the
Well,
the artifact the artifacts that you was talking about? Can I
yeah,
address that?
go
yeah.
ahead, brother. Go ahead, brother Super.
The biggest artifact is the pyramid. The
The,
oldest one is over here,
the,
so it has to be a replica over there.
the pyramid.
Yeah, pyramids are older here.
Um, are they called pyramids?
Yeah, by the experts. Yeah, according to what the expert says, which is probably going by the same standard that classify yours as pyramids. So,
Well, I think all people. I think, and on
I
the
mean,
continent.
I think archaeologists and anthropologists goes by a certain standard to be able to publish these certain things in scientific journal reports as such, and they get peer reviewed, and I don't think they get argued as such. So,
Um, well, I think that both. groups in the Americas and in Africa. They started out with mounds. So we have in Africa we have tumuli. These are uh, burial structures where they on top of it they put stones and rocks, right, and tumuli, but they are they're essentially mound structures, and then later, of course, they began to build with think stone, and so in Egypt, for example, you
Hey,
have
brother Reggie.
yeah,
Don't mean to interject
oh,
and cut your
yeah,
wisdom, but
Your
you
mic
said
sounds
something
staticky as
that
hell. Your mic sounds
that
staticky too, brother. True.
yeah, I do. You just said something that I do agree with. That some Pan Africans kind of, and I ain't called it. I don't know if you're a Pan African just to study history. I'm just
I'm a
gonna leave it
black
at that. But
nationalist.
okay,
I'm a black nationalist. Um, Pan Africanism is just an idea. Um,
okay,
it's just an idea. I think people misuse the term Pan Africanism. I'm old enough. The difference is I'm old enough to have been able to talk to real Pan Africanists and Black nationalists like Dr. John Henry Clark. I was a student of his. I think a
right.
lot of the new people they 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 combine a lot of concepts and they haven't read any books and they just want to fly the red, black, and green, but they have no, except for a few books, they've never really talked to people that was at the Manchester conference, like I have with Professor Edward Scobie and Dr. John Henry Clark, whose heritage of education was under some of the greats and who knew Kwame Nkrumah. Yeah, and in my own experience of working with these groups of people, so Pan Africanism
Right.
is one of those things that needs to be fixed.
Readjusted. Would that be the correct word?
They
Uh,
need to be people need to be a little bit more educated, and so I see some of the arguments back and forth. I've heard y'all talk about the Sixth Pan African Conference, right? And there was a number of problems with that conference that young Pan Africanists or people calling themselves don't want to deal with at all. But I'll get to that at a later point. But I've heard y'all talk.
yeah.
Yeah, I've heard
Let
y'all.
me let me just expound on what I had introduced you about. So you believe that mounds are the precursor before pyramids, correct?
Yes, correct.
Oh, okay, yeah, me as well.
Tumuli, really
Yeah,
tumuli. Yeah.
okay, yeah. Like over here, we got the second oldest is on date right now because they still finding things as we go on, but they got Poverty Point and then Watson Break, which goes back, if I'm not mistaken, it dates somewhere between 5500 to 6500 BC. Are you familiar with that one?
I'm not familiar by name, but I have heard of. There are many burial mounds in North America, and in I don't know too much about South America on that, right? Because of the population that's there and the education that's there. But yes, there are burial mounds in the Americas, right? In what they call the Americas. What do you call it?
Yeah, I believe the same thing that the mounds are the precursors before
Yeah.
pyramid structure. You got to start at a foundation from somewhere, and I believe the mounds was the starting foundation before we got to the second oldest, which would be the step pyramids, and then
Right.
eventually the later addition of pyramids would be the smooth side triangle form of pyramids.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
even got the Olmecs even mastered the form of pyramid structure. They got something that's called the circular pyramid of the Olmec, and it's one of the notables found that
Mhm.
I think in
Yeah, they have
Levant.
them in North Africa too. They're called jetters, but they came later. Jetters or circular pyramids,
Yeah,
built the
yeah,
same way, but they're called jetters.
right.
So, So there are some things. There's some things, of course, common in people, in human beings, right? With their cognitive and neural evolution, right? Using tools and fashioning things around nature. So both groups of people were people that observe nature, right? And by observing nature, they come up with these geological constructs, right?
Hmm.
Um, what we have in Africa is that we have a longer period of fossil finds and archaeological finds than we do have in the Americas, and that
Well,
is yes. Mhm.
yeah. And then, well, when we get into human activity, uh, that is argued. But we do have plausible activity, human activity,
Oh,
according in America, that exceeds a lot of other spots. Now we got 50,000 years at Topper site in North Carolina. You may be familiar with. You got Watson
not
Break.
that date. Yeah, okay, not that, not necessarily that date, but yes, there, yes.
And so
We
now we even got stuff as recent as 130,000 years human evidence here,
mhm.
245,000 years human evidence here. And this is significant when getting into a particular argument, because the argument that's going to be alluded from one side, your side, is that these people came from out of Africa, which is the out of Africa theory. Africans, according to science and what you're going to be bringing up, didn't migrate out of Africa till 100,000 years, arguably. So to find things at 130, to find things at 245,000, totally shakes that narrative down.
Well, Africans in our the way that we think about it is that when we say out of Africa, the earliest species of humanity, Homo heidelbergensis, right, uh, left Africa, and in Africa, its children was Homo rhodesia. In Asia,
That's a
was
hominid.
Erectus.
I just want to make sure I'm clear. My bad, I didn't mean to cut you off, brother Reggie. I apologize. We
Yeah,
just we just built, and I'm enjoying the conversation. And I'm just want to get some things from you guys, because I often put Pan Africanism and comedic freaks on all you guys titles, but you guys, you just said that you're a black nationalist. So I want to get some clear understanding to your understanding to what you
yeah.
get.
So on that end,
These
it's
are
a
hominids though, right? Just for the viewers' sake. We got 230 people in here. These are
yeah.
hominids.
Homo heidelbergensis is a group of archaic humans, and they are from somewhere between 700,000 to 200,000 years ago. That group left left Africa.
How old ago? My bad. How long ago? My bad. I'm having some.
700,000 to 200,000 years ago is their span. Their span. So meaning that they disappeared around 200,000 years ago, but 700,000 years ago, that is when that's when they were present. And,
For
and,
for
and
clarity,
yes.
could you explain how they left Africa?
Oh yeah, they left Africa through the land bridge going into Canaan, and then they also left Africa, possibly to Spain when during uh, through a land bridge of possible ice. Mhm. And that group of
So
human.
listen. At the end of the day, you believe that your ancestors come from this great ape.
Mm. At the end of the day, yes, from evolution,
Mm,
yes, a great ape.
okay.
Right? I don't
Um,
think, but
my
there are
bad,
no
bro. You
great
got it.
apes in the America. There are no great apes in the Americas,
But
Right.
a lot of
How
us,
long subscribe to evolution, either though? So
huh?
yeah, respectfully, a lot of us don't subscribe
Yeah,
to
it's okay.
evolution, and we don't believe that we um, evolved from great apes or chimpanzees, whichever. I know it's multiple theories behind that, and it's a couple of problems with it because I remember not too long ago. They thought that they found what a fusion, allegedly chromosome fusion happened at on one particular one. If I'm not mistaken, it's on the DXLL. I can't give you the exact name right now because I'm driving, but
Yeah.
they said that
Hey,
this
can
is
I
where the
ask you?
chromosome fusion happened at. But the problem is that where this so-called fusion is supposed to happen at on, I believe on the right end, it's actually deteriorated at that particular point of the chromosome that the alleged fusion happened at. So that was
Well,
one
I'm
problem.
to be honest, I'm not that far. That's earlier than what I was talking
Oh, my
about.
bad, Dr. Records.
I'm only talking about Homo heidelbergensis.
I got a question for you. Do is your understanding what you are describing of evolution? Is this an African custom? Is this a normal ideology amongst indigenous African tribes in Africa?
Um, no, no. I don't. No, I think in their symbolic thought, you have lots of people, early people thinking about from whence they come. And in the ancient Egyptian lore, there's frogs and snakes, right? There's concepts of frogs and snakes, right? They have something, and then they have cosmological ideas of the universe, right? They have the what you call the Kemenu, the eight, which is Amen, Amenet, Nununet, Kekeke, Hehehet, which is the precursors to matter, right? And so they were doing a lot of thinking, not saying any of that was right. That's their mythology, all right? So that's their mythology.
Did
But
they
they, yes.
do they have my bad? I didn't mean to cut you off. Do they do
No,
is
you
there
got me.
is there in organic perspectives that incline with your perspectives now on how humans evolved or whether they evolved or not? Is this a normal custom? Like that's what I'm saying amongst Africa. You said no, but so what is a custom that Africans would talk about how they come about? Do they talk about them coming from a great ape or a swamp soup, bacteria? How do they explain their
Okay,
existence?
so like in ancient Egypt, right? Which and the reason why I study ancient Egypt is because they have the oldest written records, where they actually make sentences, and so it's way better than what you call symbolic thought, which is just pictures, right? Um, their best point is that that their early ancestors are they come from frogs and snakes. Those are the primeval ones, the primeval ones. And so that's as far as I think that they get with that. But with those other groups that I was talking about, Homo heidelbergensis, Neanderthal, Denisovan, uh, and then Homo sapiens sapiens, those groups, particularly the Denisovans and the Homo Neanderthal and the Homo sapiens sapiens, and sometimes they intermixed, but most of the time they warred against each other. And so the Homo Neanderthal, of course, leaves because the Homo sapiens sapien went out. The Denisovans and the other group, the Hobbit group, um,
Homo florensis is what you're talking
yes,
about.
they admix. They admix out of extension, and so their
Where
children.
where did this admixture happen between the Denisovian and Homo florensis? Where did this admixture happen?
Most of that happened in Asia. That happened as groups of Africans left Africa. So the first admixture is going to be Homo sapien and Neanderthal, right? Denisophan also seems to be a child of Homo heidelbergensis that arose in Eurasia, not in Africa, and
See,
in this
but
group.
see, this evolution stuff is tricky, and that's why they always label it evolutionary theory. It haven't became, and this is. Are you familiar with the Cambrian period or the Cambridge explosion,
Um,
which is
yes, yes, but um, like so the way I'm doing it, I'm just doing it with people in, and we're getting a
okay? Okay.
little earlier. See, now we're just getting a little earlier. So the answer to your question is: did those Africans, for example, on the continent of Africa, did they have oral traditions? There were other subspecies of Africans, of course, in Africa, right? That they admixed with. So all these different there was so multiple populations of early human beings were in Africa at the same time. Homo sapiens sapien either admixes them out of population, uh, or there are
Why
diseases.
all of a sudden when it gets to the subspecies African and to the modern day what we call Homo sapiens sapien African, there's a speed up process. Anything before this is almost prolonged. It takes time. It seems
Oh
like
yeah,
it's microwaves up at this particular uh,
yeah.
uh, point to explain the theory. But what I'm saying is, with that being explained, there should still be revenants, live, living, or full
Well, we have what we have.
subspecies Africans right now on the
What we
continent.
have is what we have is on DNA. So we had this big argument about the A00 that was found in the Americas from uh, 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 an African American, right? This particular A00 is a earliest species of African. So they so this African family who were, how can I say, kidnapped from the continent of Africa. Um, uh,
That's your
this
theory that you added on, right?
no, well, listen, I know whose show I'm on, right? But the A00 DNA is in Africa, and it was in this this African family that
In
came through
this
the
Cameroon family,
I'm
they
right,
saying,
was
right.
they was all connected.
you're forgetting the fact that there's people here. There's people here. There's science here. There's DNA here. There's genetic markers here, even though they may not be rightfully identified. So when we look at someone from the Carolinas, right, and we look at this old DNA that doesn't have anything on the chart that they even compare it with at the time, right? They find similarities to it in Cat Maroon. Unpronounced to the people of history, they're not knowing that people from the Carolinas in the 1800s was sent to Camp Maroon and are testing the modern population, not the ancient population, which they have done so there, and it
Right.
doesn't match up. So you're explaining a migration that I don't subscribe to. I'm actually saying
Okay,
it's
I know you don't subscribe to. That's
Hey,
why
can I
we're
just add
talking.
on to that AAA? That's another thing too that we got to take into perspective, right? When they first ran across this on the Albert Perry, they
Yes,
was wild and amazed. They said it was nothing like that they seen before. But
yes.
if this is allegedly a connection and exactly the same as the one in Cameroon, why didn't they get the same results when they had that sample base before the Albert Perry?
Why didn't they get that sample
Yeah,
base?
they had the Cameroon sample. They had those people from Cameroon in the sample base already before Albert Perry, and if it was the same, they would have seen it then, but they didn't see it until they got it from Albert Perry. So what you
Right.
start to pay attention to is after they found Albert Perry, now they're
Yes.
searching to find
Yeah.
any type of similarities. So I'm saying
Right.
that if they was the same, they should have been synced it with the ones from Cameroon even before they got to Apple Perry and link Apple
Well,
Perry to them, but it's the other way around.
human gene the human genome is recently mapped, so it wasn't here. 100 years ago, wasn't here 50 years ago. And so they are still having findings. But the finding is important because once they identified it, they identified it as a subspecies of early African, and they can find it in Cameroon. And so the theory is that the African in Africa, Homo rhodesia, which is a precursor to Homo sapiens sapien in Africa, right, admixed with other groups of subspecies of Africans, and so we do have that, and um, for me and for your populations, right? for for your grouping people, these are just research points. The What we're more concerned about is much more modern. We're more concerned about what was happening 1,000 years ago, the peopling of 1,000 years ago. Um, the For both groups, my group and your group, we can just say it's pretty much ancestral. But we're looking um, at a particular period where your group is establishing yourself as being aboriginal to this, even though aboriginals are definitely early in the Americas, right? But what we are trying to establish, because if we listen, family,
Like,
if we
like
just
civilization, is that what you're going off of? Civilization, Marcus?
no, not civilization, peopling, because at some point without writing, right, and in oral stories that match from different areas, we don't have a lot of information about the peoples, right? So that's the reason why I put up my family history, and you allowed me to talk about my family history, and I appreciate that, is because from my oral tradition, not 1,000 years ago, but my oral tradition for the last 100 years, this is where I gather information from my family, who they married with, what happened, who went to another plantation, who was killed, who died of a disease and stuff like that. So for the last, so what we are all getting from our families is information from the last 100 years, and you have to establish your ancestry based on that, and so do I, right? That's how we establish our kind of recent ancestry, and then everything else is things that we pick up and we study. But each one of us is a member of a family. We can all agree. Each one of us is a member of a family, and that who we are is the highest tech new version of that family, each and every one of us, right? And what we get from our families, if we pay attention to them, is information about who they believe that they were, right? And most people don't do that. I know several of you, because I just talked to y'all. Y'all do that. But the wider group of people are people who haven't done the basics and they just want to belong to something. Can we agree or
Right.
disagree
So
with that?
yeah, we agree on that because one
Yeah,
thing that we do teach and practice is that the very most important history to study before any history is your own family, because how do you know where you fit in at into this contemporary history? And when you don't know, anybody can place you anywhere and you will accept it because you ain't do the due diligence to check it for yourself. And we think that this is the indoctrination and mental capacity of a lot of our people, that a lot of them was letting somebody else tell them who they was and was going against who their family told them who they was. So,
right.
whatever your family come back with, that's who you are. Can't nobody argue that. But the problem is, and that I'ma just speak on, is that when, about black people being in America before any slave trade, no connection to Africans whatsoever, respectfully, that we start getting attacked by Pan Africans that was calling us coons, saying we just wanted to be anything but African, when a lot of us was getting his story from our own family and was told to believe the white man, the
Yeah. So
educational history instead of our own family.
most of our people are sheep. Most of our
I
people.
want I want to disagree. You said that we believe what our family told us, and we believe what we know where we from. No, we know where we from, and we know
Ooh,
our people know where we from. So it's not a belief;
ooh.
it's a fact.
Okay, there are facts. There are facts with that. Okay, so I'm gonna give you that, but I'm gonna have to. I'm going to have to ask you, right? Start naming, because a lot of people pull from one person of their family. So you have two parents. You know you have four grandparents, and you have eight great grandparents. You know that, right? Yes, you
Yes,
know that, right?
yes,
Yeah, that's a fact.
Okay. So sometimes what we do is usually the women in our families, they're the most talkative. They want to sit down and when they have the time and they want to put you on their lap and they want to talk to you. So that's our big mamas in our families, right? Most of the men, most of the men in our families, uh, they don't. They too busy working, trying to get order, trying to have a stable life for their family. They not talkative. So our fathers, our grandfathers, our great grandfathers, that once in a while you might see them at a reunion or something like that, and you might hear them speaking, and you might be next to them when he's speaking to their mother or their grandmother, and they talking. But our I'm just saying in the African American tradition, fathers are kind of remote from their sons. They want to be a disciplinary. You do this, don't do what I say, don't do what I do, you do this, right? But the mothers are much more nurturing.
is that anecdotal, and where are you getting that relationship from?
Oh, from my family.
Oh,
So yeah.
okay, that's
So
not how it was in our family. But
okay,
go
that
ahead.
may be okay. So Superman. So good. So we have a chance to talk. And so if it's not true, uh start naming your grandparents. How many of your grandparents did you know and you talked to?
All the way back to my great grandmother.
Okay, let's start with your grandparents. So you've had relationships with all of your grandparents?
Yes.
Okay. What are their names? Just first names. You ain't got to go into first names, last name, and stuff.
Or
People active, huh?
my great grandma name was
Wait,
Ora.
wait, wait. Start on your mother's line,
Her name was Lottie.
Lottie. That's a nickname, or she was born Lottie.
That's her name.
Okay, that's the name that you know. Did you ever see a birth certificate
There was no birth certificates then.
wait? There was no birth certificates for your grandmother.
Great grandmother.
Oh no, I'm starting with
She
your
she was
grandmother.
born. She was born in 1903.
I'm starting with your grandmother, but there were birth certificates. Well, maybe if it was on a reservation or something like that. Was she on a reservation or she was
Not
in
no no. She wasn't on no reservation. She was in town.
she was in town, so there would be a birth certificate. So that's on your.
No 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 no. She was born at home.
Oh, there's still birth certificates from
What
midwives. Midwives
what
have to.
what what's a certificate?
Okay. Is you are registered after your birth, right? For
Registered to who? Registered to whom?
to the state.
Nah, we didn't do that.
Okay, so wait, so that's one member of your family. All your members of your family didn't do that? Wait, one second. Let me check a phone because my camp might be calling me to tell me.
Yeah, they calling you and telling you in hot water
No. Well, how am I in hot water? I'm talking about my family and your family. How am I in hot water?
because you going out. you going off assumptions and anecdotal
No,
experiences.
no, 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 no.
Our you're from
You
the
can't
north.
say that, Super.
I know, but
Super.
you were saying that our fathers had these type of relationships with each other, and they
Super is
stood
birth
back,
certificate,
and
Super.
they didn't do all that. And then you saying that my great grandma had a birth certificate in 1903. No, sir,
Yeah,
that's none of
1903.
that is true, sir.
So no member of your family has a birth certificate.
Not my great grandmother.
Okay, okay. But okay, so then how is she? Okay, she didn't have a birth certificate. Did she have a marriage license? You
Nope.
see, she didn't have a marriage license. She didn't have a
Nope.
birth certificate.
And she was married to Reverend Johnny Jones.
Okay. So she has church records, but she doesn't have a is she on the census? Have you checked?
Nope. She's not on
Okay.
no census.
Super, super, super. Did you check, super?
Yes, but you making like all these documents and all this trying it makes a difference. We're talking about real life. These people were
Super, I'm
alive.
gonna
If
go
they
right.
wasn't, I wouldn't be here.
Super, I mean, I think the rest of the people on the panel see some problems. Most of the people who have done research on their families look for the records. My other brother that was on said that there was a Bible with family records.
I
Yeah,
didn't
but
say we didn't
my
have
great
family
grandma didn't.
records.
Yeah, my great grandmother didn't have a birth certificate either, though. Just to keep it a
Yeah,
buck,
bro.
she do have a
I wa-
she does have a death certificate, but
right,
she was born on the family land. Now, the only reason why we got records was because my family kept records, and she does have
right.
a marriage license because my great grandfather,
Right. So I was just asking
his
them.
brother was the one that's married. But if I search that marriage license in the system, I can't find it.
Okay, well, Truth Seeker, you did try to search it, right?
Oh yeah, only thing that I was able to come up with was 5 land census surveys.
Okay.
That's it. Nothing else. It's like my family a ghost outside of when they tried to come survey my family land in Mississippi.
Okay.
That's it.
Well, at least you did that. What I'm just trying to say is they're all records. So to say if I'm surprised if someone in the 1900s doesn't have a birth certificate, but
Can
they would
can I
have
ask you a
some
question?
record.
Can I
Wait,
ask you a
I'm not
question?
finished. You can ask me a question. But there would be marriage certificates, there would be death certificates, right? And the death certificates are usually in that time period. That means if she was born in 1903, that means she might have passed
But
away in 19.
but brother Reggie, peep this though, right? If
Yeah.
it wouldn't have been for my family keeping those records, I'd be in the same predicament as this brother. I wouldn't be able to
Oh,
find. I wouldn't
No,
be able to
no, no.
find
That's
no
what
records. You feel me?
that was
Like,
the question I was gonna ask him. Is private records more or public records more
no, no,
validating than private
all
records
records.
because we have our family tree, we have our family
All records
history.
are good. All
No,
records.
no, no,
All
we don't
records
have
are good.
oral records. We have
I said
written
all
records.
records are good.
Oh, okay, because every time
All,
we have a family
Thank
reunion, we take a an attendance and everybody signs the book, and we've been doing this for generations and generations. So
wonderful. All
the
yeah.
I'm
the
saying,
birth certificates and all that stuff, we
we're
keep
not
track of our own
arguing.
people.
Super. We're not arguing on that. If she doesn't have a birth certificate, and Truth Seekers, um, great grandmother doesn't have a birth certificate, fine. There are all other records. That doesn't mess with my point. And so my major point is, and the other thing about relationships between fathers and sons, right? In a lot of households, fathers are not really in the household. That's just the story of us in the Americas, right? They're out.
Excuse me, excuse me. Can I just say something about that? Back then, they were in the household, and most of them had records. They didn't have certificates. They were records that when they were born, they put them in their Bible. I had my grandmother had a cousin that was 102 years old that didn't even have a birth certificate. Okay, so it's not true that everybody had a certificate. They recorded it, and that's what they took away from
We're
us.
not arguing, sister, on that. I said all records are good, right? And people have a right to say what's true in their family and what's not. I have a right to say, well, I'm surprised because basically working in this land ultimately for occupations and jobs and military and things like that, they, even if you didn't have it at birth, they would make you form one at some point in your life, right? So I'm not, sister, I'm not arguing.
Who
That's
is they that made you do anything? Who is they? The people that
oh,
you're talking about.
of course the oppressor, the oppressor. So
You
if you're
gotta
not,
also understand something though too, brother Reggie, and this is something that I've been noticing over the
yeah,
years, is that on the East Coast, y'all do have a lot more documentation, public records than the rest of the country. You gotta understand this whole United States concept that we're searching up under started on the East Coast. You know, they didn't start getting into certain areas until like the mid 1800s. You know, like I say, my people from the middle of the map. You know, from the middle South and the Midwest. You know, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, Indiana, Illinois, Michigan. So the fact that that's what you consistently see
well, it
of,
varies. Can we just agree or disagree? Because listen,
yeah,
I'm not here to fight
no,
you.
you good.
I'm from the South. I'm not born in New York. And I'm
No,
born.
no, but you still on the East Coast though. That's what I'm saying. Even though
Oh,
you're from the South, it's on the East Coast, and it was a lot more public record keeping in that area than other areas. That's all that I was pointing out
okay.
right there.
But
So
what do happens is that census is taken every 10 years, and so I'm just saying there are records. What I don't want to get away from is that the fact is that most of us are sheep. We like to be who we think we want to be. We don't do our family records. For the people that I'm talking to today, seems like you have some family records, right? And that's the most important thing because with the family records and associations with your family, you get a chance to know who you are, right? And then you might have a grandmother that says that you were Native American or you was Aboriginal, and then you may have another member of your family that says that they just black, right? Or they don't know where they come from, or my great grandmother was a slave, right? And we get those things, and those things make us who we are as individuals. The problem is, family, is that we are always intermarrying in this country, right? We're not marrying based on tribes. We're marrying based on proximity, love, um, um, uh, things like that. That's why we're marrying. So we're marrying different groups of people. So, but you all feel that you're only involving yourselves with Aboriginals and anybody who came off the slave ship. That's not y'all want to discard that.
Excuse me.
Yeah,
Where's
yeah.
your information of all these people that came off the slave ship?
Um, I think, sister,
But you can't just say that. It's because
sister,
we
sister, I ain't
control
say
them.
none of that. Sister, I ain't say none of that. We was talking about early man. We was talking about our families, right? Like
But
I
you
just
just mentioned
mentioned,
that.
I
You
just
just mentioned
I
that.
said, no, see, I'm not, listen, one thing is I'm not here to do is I'm not here to fight.
I'm
If you
not
want me
fighting.
to fight, if you want me to fight,
Who's
right,
fighting?
I'll fight,
Who's
right,
fighting?
right.
Who's fighting?
The fact of the matter is that there are records of Africans coming here. I started here with Comfort, Fort Monroe, and Fort Comfort of my family, right? That what my family's research,
Well,
right?
can I ask you a question? are there like fleets of ships loaded with Africans being brought here? Is that your understanding?
Of course. You, of course. Why are you laughing? And listen,
I'm
Okay.
not
and you
laughing.
know what? And you know what? Listen, if I mean,
Well,
listen, I came
we
in peace. I came in peace,
right,
right? I can go
we
on my
peaceful.
boards, but
We
listen,
peaceful. We
right?
peaceful. I'm just asking a straight question, and
Yeah,
you said yes.
you can go to slavevoyages.org. You can go to
Uh-huh.
slavevoyages.org. There are records. Then there are court
Okay.
records of ships
All
captured,
right.
right?
Can I give
Why
can I
deny that? Why
I know,
deny
but can
that?
I know, but can
Yo,
I ask you a question? Like, you the the ships was loaded with people and they was shitting and pissing and wasn't allowed to come above deck. Is that
hey,
part of your belief system?
I think that you're I think that there's enough records and as good researchers, right? You should see the records and then deny it. I think that you should look at the records and you should deny it. There's enough court cases where the African squadron and the other squadron captured ships on sea with hundreds of Africans uh, in their bows. So I think, but we weren't even talking. We didn't even get to that point yet. We didn't even
yeah,
get to that point. All I was at
yeah. We
was,
can debunk that though.
huh?
We can debunk
Um,
that.
um, Listen, who's that? This is Ma.
Nonetheless, nonetheless. Hey,
Nonetheless, nonetheless, peace. Nonetheless,
big
nonetheless,
bro. I
it's
want
not
to ask you this.
about. Yeah.
No, I want to ask you this because we already know what you're gonna say before you say it.
No, you don't. How you know?
Look,
I was talking about my family. I was talking about
no,
family.
no, but I appreciate that. Look, Reggie, I appreciate that, bro. You've been real respectful, and I appreciate that. I'm not here to fight with you, and you know what I mean? Because usually when we get Pan Africans over here, is
I'm a
very
black
chaotic.
nationalist. I'm a
Well,
black.
Black Nash, I'm sorry, I apologize for calling you a Pan African. Black Nash, okay, okay, we straight with that. But I know that you do. I want to ask you this because I want to backtrack about this Egyptian stuff, right? And you do tours at that Brooklyn Museum, correct?
Yeah, the Metropolitan Museum Walk, the Brooklyn Museum, the Boston Museum, yeah, and the
Okay,
museum. One second, let me. I just gotta get my phone. I gotta tell somebody to call me back. All right?
got
Because I think that you are important, right? So I'm gonna tell somebody.
you.
Why does he believe in this? Like,
Yo, he crazy, yo.
yeah, he is.
Yo, look, this the reason why I want to ask him that, right? Because of the these you got these artifacts, right? That somehow ended up in America, right, from Egypt.
Yes.
Now, how in the world did Egypt artifacts from all the way in Egypt end up in all these museums in America, in the United States, right? That's my question. How did they end up here and in the museums here? And do you believe that UNESCO has something to do with these artifacts? And do you believe that the UNESCO is a legitimate organization?
Um, well, the answer is first of all, a lot of artifacts came to the Americas from Africa and Egypt as things to trade, right? Meaning, and they were many, and much of it was stolen, right? And so it appealed to the circus community early on, the Ringling Brothers and Barnaberry Circus and all those type of things, the exotic thing. So those anything from other places, Asia and Africa and China, was came to America, right, to be sold. And then organizations began to step in. UNESCO is much later than what was happening earlier. It was in a lot of private collections, right? It was in a lot of.
Oh my God.
Oh my
So
God!
these
You believe in?
so
But
wait a minute. So you're saying that these artifacts, right, that's
Yeah,
in these museums that
yeah.
so called from Egypt, you don't know whether they came from Egypt or not then.
Oh, well, that's okay. So then what happens when they are in museums? what happens is now what they do is they go through something called providence, where they try to identify who was the original seller, when it was sold, who was sold, what private collection it was bought from, and etc.
Okay, so basically, you're saying that these artifacts could have possibly been given to or auctioned to a private collector, ended up in a museum from the black market.
Um, uh, many times it was. They came from private collections, and private collections was bought by museums. Museums are more of an academic institution, right, than private collections. So there's a lot of very wealthy, affluent pirates, as they say, and these things are in their houses. And then when they pass on, or then they're sometimes put up for auction by their families or acquired by museums. But the issue is, I hope that you're not asking me, is the material that is in the Egyptian wing of these museums or authentically Egyptian? Well, there's ways in which we can verify. One is if it has any writing on it, right? If it has any writing on it, can the writing actually be read? Is it cognizable? So someone like me, I have skills in that area in which I can actually read it, right? So I know if it's just mumbo jumbo or unintelligible. That's just me. A lot of the people who are so-called comedic and stuff like that, they can't read it. They just believe in what they want to believe in, right? They don't have any academic training in it. I actually have academic training in it, right? So and it goes forth with the same things from the stuff from Asia, and it also goes stuff for with the Native American collection. So you have the Smithsonian has a lot of Aboriginal or Native American material, right? And then it's the same questions of authenticity. So I don't think I don't. Why are we arguing on this, right?
I'm
Something. Why are we arguing?
because I'm gonna tell you why, bro.
Yeah.
Because
Mhm.
we here in this community believe that a lot of that stuff was stolen from America and giving credit to the Egyptians. And
Well, you,
how can you authenticate something that is in America but it's claiming it's from Egypt?
yeah,
And it was owned by a private. You just said, because I didn't know this. You're the expert because you do tours in a museum, and you just said out your own mouth that they bought it from private collectors, and that the museums get most of their material from private collectors, and you don't know whether they was on a black market or not.
well, when they here's the thing is when they're a lot of materials do come from private collections, right? And then they have to trace the authenticity of it. And some of the materials come from actual digs. Most of the materials now in the museums, right, that are on display, right, that are on display, because there's materials that is not on display that are in the basements, right, where they have to navigate the legalities of the materials, right now. But what you did say is interesting. There is no ancient Egyptian culture, right, in the Americas. Now, there might be structures that look the same as in Africa, in the Nile Valley, but they look the same, but they're in fact not the same. And they had different purposes.
Well,
So
How
can
are
I
they
speak
not
on
the same?
why are
can I
we
speak?
fighting when I didn't come to fight?
No, we're not
I
fighting.
know, but I just
We
want
just
to ask, how are they
conversating.
not the same?
But I want to speak on some correlations of some things that we can line up. Um I'll start with Anubis, right? Now they say Anubis is a replica of is I think they call
A
it
jackal.
the jackal, right?
He's a jackal. Mhm.
Right, but I disagree with that because when I look at the jackal that they speak of in Africa, it looked like a coyote, right? And when we look at Anubis, it definitely don't look like a coyote. So what idea did this Anubis come from?
Oh,
Well,
hi.
well, when I started looking in Mexico and Central and South America, I'm seeing this cholo dog that is very identical to Anubis, and it just so happened that they also bury this cholo dog for what? To guide them in the underworld when they die,
Right.
which is the same concept. So when I see that not only does it have the same concept, but it look identical to the T, almost pretty much 100%. But they trying to tell me that it's a jackal, which look like a coyote. Now I got to start questioning this stuff because now you trying to tell, not you, but they're trying to tell me that don't believe what your eyes see. It's a coyote. Well, a jackal.
Well,
So
well, I'm sorry. Okay, so I'm sorry about the phone. Yeah, okay. So humans, we have uh, cognitive and neural uh, abilities, and our early ancestors observed nature. And what we did when we observed nature is that if we saw something over and over again, or we saw it productive to our culture, we would deify it. So in the Americas, the same human beings, because we're all human beings, identify specific qualities, the sun, the sky, the mountains, right? Um, the animals that was there. And then we gave those particular animals qualities. So there are some correlations because we're humans.
Can I go a little deeper? Can I go a little deeper there?
Well, I,
So
well, I thought I went a little deeper. Now you can go a little
Hey,
deeper.
can I ask the brother one question, bro?
go ahead. Go ahead, A1. You got.
Peace, brother Reggie. What's up, man? It's your brother A1, man.
What's up, A1? I hear you making noise. I heard you. I
Nah, we
heard
ain't. I'm only rattling cages. I ain't really making no noise
you,
yet.
you
I got a
wasn't the
question.
one. You was the what was I? You was you the one that was saying you was gonna push down a bro? Tell a bro to do some push ups or something like that.
Oh yeah. For that might have been me.
Yeah,
But I got a
that's
question for you though. I got a question for you. It might not be that funny, right? Was it black people in America before 1492 in North, Central, and South America?
yeah. So yes. So yes. Okay. So now there are skin color black, and and your skin can be darker, right? For a variety of different reasons. Close proximity to the sun.
Now, was it Negroes here? We ain't gotta get all into the sign. Was it Negroes here who have some of the same physical symmetry as Africans?
No.
Okay, all right. So you saying that through North, South, and Central America, and even Alaska and Canada, you telling me that there wasn't Negroes in America already?
Mm, Um, I'm saying no. Mm-mm.
All right, okay. Are we gonna deal with that, right? I got one more other questions for you, right? Now we bringing up Egypt, right? Everybody talking about Egypt, right? You are aware that the pyramids in the Americas are older than pyramids in Egypt, right?
Mm. Um, uh, I could say yes. I could say some formations
So
of
the building, so the pyramids here, was they built by Mongols or what you call Asian looking Native Americans? They built pyramids before the great Kemetic priests.
Well, wait, okay. So here's the thing. So again, we started earlier with how the Africans on the Nile chose to bury themselves, and so they chose to bury themselves first in tumuli, and then mastaba type of structures, and then they got into the pyramid phase. The in the Americas, in some regard, those people uh, may have gotten into building some of those structures earlier, but pyramid. I'm not going. Even though I study ancient Egypt, I think that pyramid building was a goddamn waste of time, personally. Right?
All right. But
I
you,
think
so
it was
you,
a
so you
first.
agree?
I think that they could have done more with their
Nah.
resources.
Regardless if they're a waste of time or not, so you agree that the pyramids in America is older than pyramids in Africa?
I think some I would have to. Okay, so here's the thing. There are structures in Africa that are completely buried and everything has not been, but some of the surviving pyramids in North America seem to predate, seem to predate or on the same time frame as those in Africa. Yeah.
Kinda, or do they?
You,
Mhm.
he said, are they? Are
You
which one?
said
All right, look.
kinda, or they?
Let's come to a contention right here. Let's come to a contention without leaving it ambiguous, right? Let's come to a contention, right? So, all right, the first pyramid that they claim that is in Egypt is a
Mhm.
step pyramid. That's the
Mhm.
first pyramid they claim that was built.
Yeah,
America has majority of step pyramids, right? You are aware who Tahuti is, right?
Tahuti in Egypt. Tahuti
Yeah,
in Egypt.
Tahuti in Egypt.
Yeah, the Ibis
Yeah.
bird. Yeah. Mhm. The Ibis
What
nettle. Yeah.
what's Tahuti? What so what's Tahuti? What would Tahuti other name be? What do they call what's his other name?
Um, in written form, we know he's Tahuti, right? And so that's the earlier than the written form for that particular netter. I don't know. I think that they
So
venerated
you
other.
know who Dolph is, right? You know who Dolph is. You do know who Dolph is, right?
Yeah, that's the Greek version of Tahuti with
It's
Hermes.
Dolph.
Okay, all
Yeah, but
right.
that's another
So you are
culture.
aware
That's
that
not the same. That's another
no, but
culture.
you saying that's Tahuti though, but it's Tahuti listen, all
Tahuti.
of the stories say that Tahuti or Dolph went over to Egypt and built the pyramids. They said to build
No, they
the
don't.
pyramids,
He didn't.
The Pyramid of Giza. The
No,
are
he
you
Pyramid
didn't
sure?
of Giza.
build.
Brother,
He didn't
all of
build
the
that. First of all, he
pyramids,
don't.
brother, the pyramids in Egypt was built by Dolph.
A1. My dude,
You find
A1.
Dolph Enroute tablets in one place. Look,
A1.
you only
My dude,
find
A1. You
Dolph
trying to
Enroute.
you
I just
trying to
want to say
run
this one
on me?
thing, right? Nah, I ain't running. I'm right here.
No, when I mean running, you trying to run on me. I ain't say
We
you
gotta.
running from me. You trying to run on me. So
Nah,
Tahuti,
nah, 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 nah.
can I
Listen,
just say this, Tahuti?
every time we get, go ahead, brother.
Tahuti. I'm sorry, A1. Tahuti
Mm-hmm.
didn't exist.
No, this ends the whole
Off
debate.
what?
I can get off the live. Peace, brothers. Please educate him. Because if you educate him on Tahuti, on Thoth, this ends the whole debate. And we can get back to what we was doing, nation
Tahuti
building,
don't
talking about our real
exist.
history. Please educate the elder on Tahuti.
Tahuti don't exist. It only
All I
exists
was
in
going to
the
tell you is
mind
this,
of him
brother.
again. It
All
does
right, but
of the African.
the
It
Enroute
don't
tablets
exist.
exist though, right? So,
So what?
but listen. The people, the Enroute tablets. Are you familiar with the Enroute tablets?
Oh, please don't bring that up, bro. You got an emerald tablet that you
So
can
that's
show
some
me?
pseudo. So is that pseudo? That's pseudo. That's pseudo.
Super
With
pseudo.
that, is that pseudo now? Oh,
Yeah,
so
super
all right.
pseudo.
So the Emerald tablets is super. Okay, are you aware of where they found the Emerald tablets at?
Can you show me an emerald
They
tablet?
found them in the pyramid. They found. I mean,
They
they
ain't
got
finding
scripts of the
that.
same thing. Which okay, so show me that you could decipher the meta letters. Show me you could decipher one symbol. Put it in a sentence form. Make a noun, a pronoun, adverb, a verb, a proposition, an interjunction, a
I
conjunction,
think
etc.
A1, A1. Look,
hmm
my brother, I think there's enough videos on me reading the Meta Nature. I think that this is a kind of like
Dr.
a
Ben
sub
said
sub
it.
sub sub
Dr.
sub.
Ben himself said it wasn't never deciphered.
A1, did you know Dr. Ben?
Did I know him? No, I didn't know
Yeah.
him.
Okay. A1, I
But I
knew
heard what
Dr.
he said though. I mean, I listened to him like everybody. I don't
A1.
have to know none of these. Go ahead.
A1. Okay, so let's
Go ahead.
go with what he said. He says that those people that are trying to speak the Medu Neter or speaking blah 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 blah, because we don't know how it sounds. But that doesn't mean that it wasn't deciphered. Most of Dr. Yosef Ben's work on ancient Egypt is about the language, the king's names, right? So reading it and speaking it is two different things. So anybody reading from the Egyptian Book of the Dead, and saying something like, Uben Ra in the first
Well,
line.
we what? Hey, look, just I'm gonna guess. I'm gonna go.
So I just
I'm
want to
just going.
let you
Hold on. I'm
wait,
gonna
but you're
say
going
one
so
thing.
many
I'm gonna say
different
one
places.
thing.
You already
What?
said one thing. I'm just clarifying it, right? What we did, what in the decipherment has been done is taking the symbols, right, and transliterating them so as a convention, and that convention helps us with vocabulary. It's no different than what they have done in the how can I say indigenous or aboriginal writing. We've never heard that language. We don't know how it sounds, but what they can do is that when it was deciphered, right, it's the same thing. When it was deciphered, you get transliterations. You use the transliterations to source for vocabulary based on observing the other materials that's there. And but anybody speaking it is just babbling. Speaking it and translating is two different type of things, right?
All right.
Some people can read French but can't speak French.
I
They can
don't
read the
think nobody
words.
can read the metanet. I don't think no, because ain't nobody
Okay,
going to
that's
sit there and say what a foot is and a water for all this old
okay.
nonsense.
So that's
But
fine. But
nonetheless, though, I mean, but no. I'm just
I
saying you
mean, you're
do your
going back
work,
and
man. I
forth.
ain't
I
trying
just
to
happened to
discredit
be
you.
trained by Dr. Riketti Amen, right? That
Yeah.
was my first course, Introduction to the Metanetia by Dr. Riketti um, Riketti Amen, who is a PhD in the Oriental Institute of Chicago. That's where she
Okay.
got her PhD from. I
Gotcha.
got trained. I didn't self-study initially. I actually got trained initially, right? So you're talking to Brother Reggie. I don't know all these other people that you are dealing with. Not that I'm better than all of them, but I'm certainly older than most of them. And my teacher was Dr.
Hey, I'm
Joseph
just going to
Bento
tell you
Camp.
something that you probably don't know about us over here, right?
No,
We teach
I knew your name. I knew who
we
you
teach
was.
that Nile Valley, that whole Nile Valley civilization, that whole Nile Valley culture came from the Americas.
I've
That's
been
what
on
we
this
teach.
show. Listen, I've been on this. I've been.
No, I know. You know you know exactly what we do, but it's just been a while, so we got to kind of refresh you and bring you up to time, up to
Oh, you
speed with
got
what
some
we.
new. You got some new.
Yeah, I mean, well,
New
we
chapters to
didn't went
teach.
into a whole brand new bag over here.
Okay. Well,
We didn't
I'm
went
a.
into a brand new bag over here. So look, so what I would like you to do is this, right? Find me a wordsy component of somebody who's willing to debate me, maybe Jabari or maybe Onk or maybe one of them. Find me a wordsy component because we're in debate mode, and I thought that's what we were supposed to be doing because I know you got the word from Sinetta as well that they're trying to they want to have these discussions or these dialogues with us. So find say A1, a Tonchless one, a Hanu Kiel, etc. Right? That he would like to debate anybody on the table, anybody on the table.
Well, I know. See, listen, Sonetta is he runs the debates, right? He runs the debates. He's my good brother, right? That's his. So listen, look with Sonetta, it's basically just get it together. He tries to pick people, so he actually tries to pick people.
I
So
tell them I'm
listen.
picking myself though. I'm picking myself since they calling us out over here.
Well,
So
if
if you
Sarnetta thinks it's worth his time of putting up the debate, Sarnetta is the leading debate person, and then outside of that is Brother Garfield. Brother Garfield.
Well, Garfield already doubled down about how he wasn't qualified to debate any of us on this topic. So, Jabari, since he always stepping up to the plate, I would love to see him step up to the challenge. And it ain't got to be on side. Now you can just, I mean, I'm quite sure you got all these individuals' numbers, so
Well, I'm not.
you
I'm
can
just a researcher. I'm a
you can
humble
send them on a
researcher
group
and
chat
scholar.
a message and send everybody one at one time.
Y'all know. Listen, y'all have watched enough. They bring me on sometimes, and sometimes they don't. Right? Sometimes I'm
Hmm.
kind of pushed to the side. I just came on your show just to chit chat about some things that I think that we need to talk about. We're not enemies we're not enemies, right? We got a common
Nah, we
enemy.
just
We have
misinformed.
some we have some disagreements. And so I have been, how can I say, in the group of people
A lost sheep.
But
say
some of these
who called
disagreements
me a lost sheep?
us, Some of these
Wait, who called
disagree.
me a lost sheep?
Nah, look, some of these. I ain't. No. I think they was talking somebody else. They weren't talking.
Who called me? I want to
Look,
know
some of these
because I like to
disagreements
dress down.
are really.
You know, huh?
Nah, they
Hold on,
not.
y'all.
Don't
Yeah.
even focus on that. Don't
Hold
focus
on,
on that,
hold on.
brother. Red. Don't.
Hold on. We're gonna let them dialogue around. Shout out to Superman. Reggie wanna respond to that comment.
Nigga,
Look at
Superman.
Yeah, brother Reggie on 10 in this
Reggie
bitch.
wants some smoke, boy.
Reggie.
Hey, it's a long
Yeah,
line. Don't even start,
I'm,
Reggie. It's a long line. I wouldn't
yeah,
even start.
yeah. Well,
That was Superman though.
Hey, Reggie, real quick, I want to ask you this about the metadata, right? Do you think it's more like more of an interpretation rather than a translation?
no, it's actually a decipherment, and then it's a translation. The problem that we have is a transliteration. The transliteration is basically recording exactly how things sound. The translation is that we, in fact, know what most the 95% of the material says, or it can be translated, and so it's already been deciphered. And so that goes with all languages that's been deciphered: Linear B, Akkadian,
Can I ask you a
So
question?
Assyrian.
wait a minute, bro. Wait a
Hold
minute.
on.
So you
Hold
saying
on. Hold on.
you're saying that somebody that many years ago knows 100% that that's what those people that's what those translations are. That's an
95
interpretation, brother.
percent 95%, not 100.
Hey,
90,
let me ask you.
95%. That's an interpretation then.
No,
And
that's not it.
for it to be a translation, it gotta be 100% money, correct?
Hey, let me ask you
No,
this.
no.
Let me
See
ask you
what?
this, brother Reggie.
No, see,
I just want to ask
that's
you.
where I happen to have I actually have a little college, right? And so first of all, something called the
Damn.
methodology, right? The methodology, well, college means I have some training, right? So a methodology is basically okay. So what is your method, and let's see where the method falls apart. So when the method doesn't fall apart, then you have a consensus. Now there are some slight variations about what a sentence may say, but generally, if you have two or three people translating, they will come up with something very, very similar based on the method.
Hey, let me ask you a question, Reggie.
Damn, Reggie.
What was the first word translated or deciphered from the middle letter?
Um, King's name. So Ptolemy was the King Ptolemy was the first. I believe it was the first word, which is a name that was translated.
Is that Greek?
Oh God.
So that's a white man.
Yeah, but what? Don't
So the
laugh.
first word that was translated. Now, who was the first person to translate this word? May I ask?
Yeah, Thomas Young and Champollion.
So white boys translated the metanator, and the first word that these white boys found was white boy,
Right.
another white boy, right?
But you know what? It's funny to you, but let me explain. So on the Rosetta tablet, there are three different languages or three different written forms. There's the Greek, the Demotic, and then there's the Medu-Neter. So since they can read the Greek, they read the Greek to see what the passage said. Then they looked at the two other languages to look for particular words. So they identified, of course, from the Greek that it was Ptolemy, and then they looked into what they call the Shanu, or some people call it the cartouche, and then they began the how can I say a method of comparing symbols. For example, we use English, right? We use English. So, but if you want to translate from English to, let's say, Russian, what you would do is you would do a comparison between the symbols. So symbols make sounds, sounds make words, right? And that's pretty much the method. I'm just telling you what the method is. And
No,
you
no,
know,
no, no, no. I
I
know
talk to
the.
people
I,
like
What you been
listen,
smoking, brother?
I
What,
know.
Hey,
that
let me,
that's some
can I ask
good
him a
Hold
shit.
question?
on, y'all.
Go
I
ahead.
know the method, brother Reggie. I just want to ask that question because I think it's ironic that this so-called pale skin is able to decipher the metanator, and ironically, the first person and name we find is another pale
Well,
skin.
how else would you right? Because on the Rosetta Stone, the most important name on it was the king of Egypt at that time, which is Ptolemy, right?
Have you
So
heard of the Mosetta Stone?
the Rosetta Stone.
No, the Mosetta. They got another one. The Mosetta Stone.
No, I haven't heard of the Rosetta Stone. Spell it so I can look it up. But I don't think that has anything to do with the translation. But it's the same thing with the
But
Aboriginal
can I ask
languages.
you something, Reggie? You
Wait,
said
let me
90.
finish.
Oh,
You
go
can
ahead.
ask me a question, but let me finish. With the Aboriginal languages that have been deciphered, it's the same. It's the same method. It's the same. It's the same method.
No, I'm not denying the method. I'm not denying the method. I'm
Yeah,
not.
you can have a method. The
But
method's
the
cool.
other, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
I'm just saying that I see something that was ironic, with the method.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
That's all. And I was
We're
making
not in
sure.
power.
and Reggie, you're not worried about that 5% that you don't know about. You say it been deciphered 95%, but what about that 5%, right?
No, I'm not worried about the 5%. I'm
I
not
mean,
worried
as far as your
about 5%
intelligence,
because I
right?
think
As far as your
I think it
intelligence,
I think
like
it's
to prove
also
that you do
race.
know.
If you put wait, let me be patient. What did you say
Okay.
was the last part
Yeah,
that you
I was just saying, as far as like that 5% of what you don't know, right?
Mhm.
To really for yourself to acknowledge that you have deciphered it, wouldn't you? You don't think it's a problem? You don't have that 5%,
No, I think it becomes a study. I think it becomes a study. For example, the Aboriginal languages.
right?
Anybody here can read
So
can
let me slow you down right there. You said it
you
becomes a
cut me
study.
off. I was explaining.
Okay,
So
go ahead. I
okay,
want to help
I'm
you. I
gonna
want
be
to help
cool.
you. Go
I'm
ahead.
gonna
My
be
bad.
cool
Go
with
ahead.
you.
You good? You
I'm
good?
gonna be cool. Go ahead. Go
I just
ahead. Go
want.
ahead.
Okay. Okay. You said it becomes a study, right? Wouldn't that prove that it hasn't been deciphered if it's still a
No.
study?
See, that's the see. No, no. It
That's a
has
genuine
not.
question. That's a genuine question because you said it becomes a study, but I thought it was already deciphered.
Okay,
Right. See what
so
I'm saying?
so let me slow down.
Yeah.
Okay,
Slow down.
so yeah. So decipherment allows us to identify the symbols and the potential sounds and logos, right? Meaning the
Yeah.
ideas of the words,
Okay.
right? Now, there are some symbols that were very cultic, meaning only a very small group of people would, in fact, know what it was in a particular place, right? And at times they wrote cryptic things. And that is in almost all ancient languages because you would have to be there to know, right? You have to be there to know, and you'll say, well, what's this? And let me see if I can find this anywhere else. And maybe you can or you can't, right? And if you can, maybe those two people communicated, but what does it mean? Well, maybe not sure. But I think that that applies with all cultures. So I think that that's a small point.
Have they
Well, it's a
deciphered that
little long
click
winded,
language
but
from South America, from South Africa? That click language. Have they deciphered that?
well, let's move real slow because you see how I had to make him slow down. He's thinking right now, so let's
No,
slow it back
no,
down again.
I answered
You
it.
should be thinking so. Well, it was a lot. That was a long winded. I still didn't get it. So this is what I'm asking you again. The five
Why don't
percent
you
that
slow down?
no, because I've been listening. So for like
No, but
2 hours,
why'd
so
you slow down? Do you
I have
understand
a
what
we
I'm
have a
saying?
lot
Wait, let me
that
explain. Let me
we
slow
heard a
it down
lot from you.
again.
So I just want to
Let me
communicate with you, bro. You good?
let
You
me
good?
let me slow it down again. There
No,
are
I understand what you're saying.
symbols,
I got you.
right?
That
There
are
are
encrypted that you can't know. So what I'm asking you
right.
is, how could you have deciphered it?
Oh, because we didn't decipher that symbol. We
That's
deciphered
what
the
I'm
rest.
asking you. So if you have 5% that you don't know, you should. I mean, it just makes sense to me that means you haven't translated it.
No, that means
You've
that
had
no. So what happens is in translations.
and I mean you said 95%. So I was just asking you about
Oh
the 5%.
man,
You ain't say 100. So that's why when he said, I don't know why it's so that's weird for you, but I'm just asking like the 5%. What if you translate some of those things and then that changes everything you thought you knew about the
show
others?
me a case. You would have to show me a case. See, what happens is there are symbols that we may not know, but the
Right.
rest of the material we know. right?
But what I'm asking is, what if those stuff you don't know changes what you thought you know about the? I guess,
Oh, because
and I'm
okay,
guessing, how do you know those? Yeah,
okay.
go
So let
ahead.
me
Go
answer
ahead.
that. Can I answer that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, because there's something called grammar. So if it was just logos, meaning idea pictures,
Hmm.
that could be the case. But if they have words like this, thou, right?
Hmm.
If they have grammar, right? They have conjunctions, they have prepositions. If we know all of that, then what we can do is for that one particular symbol that we don't know, we can put a question mark
Okay.
because we have
Yeah,
grammar. So,
I
I
have
get
a
what you're saying,
question.
like letters and stuff like that. So like,
well, no,
you know what you
grammar.
know these words. Well, grammar's in within letters are in grammar, right?
Well, no, grammar is how the sentence is constructed subject, verb, right? You know,
Okay.
or verb,
Well,
subject,
words, not letters. My bad.
things
Words,
like
but just saying, like, you know what these words are in juxtaposition to these words that you
that.
don't
Right.
know. Okay. Well, yeah. And so you're
But
saying 90%, 95%
but
of the meta
but
nature is
but
like grammar. You know what I'm
spellings of
saying?
words follow the rules of grammar. Yes or no?
Say what?
Spelling of words follow the rules of grammar. Yes or no?
Yes, that's part of grammar, but grammar has much more to do with
The
um,
structure.
yeah, the structure
Yeah. But what
of
I'm
this.
asking is
Yeah.
like the meta. What's the meta nature? Is it symbols or is it pictures?
It's 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 both. Some of them are what you call logograms, like for example, Ra, right, which is the sun, right,
Yeah.
and some are phonetic words. They make sounds.
Yeah.
Those symbols make sounds.
Okay.
Mhm.
I have a
Why
question.
laugh?
Hold on, bro.
I
Hold
have
on,
Yeah.
real
a
It's
quick.
good. It's good. It's
Why,
good for
Go,
you, Reggie.
why
It's real
laugh?
good. It's good for
real
you,
quick,
Reggie.
real
It's
quick.
really good.
Go ahead, Sister Betty. Go ahead, Sister Betty. Go get it
I'm
in
good,
real
y'all.
quick,
I'm
cause
good.
right,
well.
I'm really trying to get the fuck up out of Egypt, bro. But go ahead, Sister Betty.
Well,
That's not
I wanted your book into
that's not Sister Beth. That's Monkey Terminator, yo. Get it right.
Well, I'm not here to argue or disrespect you. Peace to everybody on the panel, by the way. Um, I just have questions
Peace.
of concern, and I was wondering, I just want to pick up where A1 was asking you a question. Um, so, um, are you telling me that the little people that look Asian built structures and mansions here in the early 15s and 1600s and personally chose, rather than live in those structures, they personally chose to live in teepees, even though they built these $1 million, these huge mansions, and they just chose to say, oh, hell, just forget it. We're going to live in teepees.
well, I think there's
Because you're
different
saying that we're not Aboriginal to the Americas. And I just find it ironically crazy because in the 1830s, those same structures, our ancestors were literally kicked out of those lands, out of those same structures. So I'm wondering if our ancestors were kicked out of the very same structures that these little Chinese people supposedly built. Are you saying that we Negroes took those structures from them and put ourselves in those homes, and then when it came time to for the Indian Removal Act, the Negroes were pushed out of those very same homes? So I'm just like really confused.
okay. Well, y'all are the experts of Aboriginal culture. But what I do know about the Americas is that there are hundreds of groups, and then there's large groups that, through warfare, through trade, through whatever, absorbed other groups. So what time period are we talking about? So those groups of people who built the the pyramids or the temple or the pyramid-like structures in Peru, right? The other groups, Aztecs, these are large, large groups.
I think
And
you're
the groups in
confused.
the
I'm not
South,
talking
and the
about.
groups in South
I'm not.
America. Why,
I'm
why
not
do you want to
speaking
cut
in.
me off?
Well,
Okay,
because you're talking about a different area of the Americas. I'm speaking specifically about North American landmass, where our ancestors are and were and have been for thousands of years. And the Africans or you guys seem to think that we're not the first people of this landmass, but yet we lived in those very structures. And you're saying that we didn't uh, build them, but we did because we lived in them. And I'm just finding it ironic that the funny looking people that they're portraying to be Native Americans built those structures, and that's just not the case. It
okay.
doesn't make
So
sense.
can I talk?
Well, yeah, I was just wanting to make sure you were in the right landmass. That's all.
Okay. Well, I think groups of Aboriginals migrated based on resources, right? Based on defining borders or not defining borders. There are different groups. The mounds per se, they weren't living quarters; they were burial quarters. What in North America, right? What and then there's different geographies like the plains, right? And then there's the forest groups that's in like Virginia, right? And in the Carolinas, right? But then there's the plains that's in the Midwest. What structures are you talking about, sister? That you are identifying in? I think that you're identifying in North America. What structures are you talking about living that were lived in?
I'm
The
talking about
castles.
the
Huh?
big, beautiful homes, the big, giant homes where, like, a family of 10 and 12 lived in on farmlands. The big homes you see throughout North America where our ancestors occupied those lands
Let,
before
let me
we
help
dealt.
you out, sister.
We had
The
castles too.
castles, the castles. If you
Yeah,
look up
they
the
turned to
early
prisons.
prisons, they turned them into prisons, but those were castles that families
That's right.
were living in and owned and ran
Just
the
for my
land around it.
edification. Okay, just for my edification, so that I can just take a look respectfully. See, I didn't come here like my community. They'd be like, brother, Reggie, why are you on here trying to be nice? You know why? Because we don't need to fight.
It's
And
good for you, Reggie. We not fighting. We just
Well,
teaching you
I,
some stuff.
sir, when
right.
I came on the
So I want to
panel,
know.
I did tell you that I was not here to argue with you. And if
Yeah, we being
anyone
nice,
knows
Reggie.
me, I have a very swift mouth, but I'm being extra respectful to you because I see
Yeah, we
that
doing
you're not
good. We good.
exercising that type of behavior.
Yeah,
So I'm just dialoguing with you.
yeah. Okay. So
Yeah, you good, Reggie.
there were different. Like I said, there's different populations. Some lived in canyons, right? Some lived
We
in the
talking about right
plains.
here in North America. We talking about look.
Right, right. In
Oh,
North
let me hold
America.
on. Wait. Let me get you before you jump all around North America. We talking about from the northeast shoreline, which will be New York. Well, we could say all the way from Maine to Florida, from Florida all the way to Texas, and Texas all the way up the Mississippi River, all the way through Detroit, Chicago, and all the way back up that direction up there.
Thank
Okay.
you, A1, and I
I
relinquish
don't.
my.
I hear you. Okay. So what is the structure that I can look up right
I'm gonna
now?
give you one right now. I'm gonna give you one. You from New York, right? You in New
No,
York,
I'm
right?
not from New York.
All
I
right,
live
but
in
you
New
in New. All
York.
right, okay. You in New York. You in New York City, right?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen a post office on 34th Street?
Yeah.
That
Of
was built
course.
by our people. Our
The,
people had that. That was our shit.
the
That building
post
is
office on
that building.
34th Street.
That building is thousands, and it's more of them. It's more. It's look, look.
You
That
wait. Hold
building.
up. This is
That
the first time
particular.
the post office on
That
34th
particular
Street.
building. Look. That and Concourse and what's the train station on the east side? Carnegie, not Carnegie.
What the fuck is the train station, man? It's on.
I'm gonna give you my email.
Huh?
I'm gonna give you my email, right?
The
Grand
building,
Central.
Grand Central. Yeah, Grand Central. Grand Central Station, brother. Them was our
Hey Reggie, you
occupying
don't need no
headquarters.
email. You need to just stick around a little bit longer.
No, because I
You
don't
need to learn some shit. You look like an older
Those
kid.
castles have been around here
You're
before
saying that to wait. This is the
1492.
first.
The
Listen,
Look
my
up, look
post
community,
office.
up, look.
Wait, he
my
interested. He
community is
interested. He
watching this
interested
too,
in
Yeah,
what
right?
you
he
saying.
wanted A1.
Hold
He
up,
wanted.
wait. We
My
don't need to go.
my
Look,
community is watching this. They're gonna
okay.
put up a poster board
The
that
building
y'all.
on the post office on 34th Street, right across the street from Mass Square Garden, was built by us, bro. That building is thousands of years old, bro.
Okay, give me a source right now that we can
Look
you
it
can
up.
pull up.
Look it up
No,
and see.
no, I'm not gonna look it
Bro,
up.
we're not gonna give you.
You know what?
Look, them same built, but look,
No,
them
I
same
want to see it
buildings.
from
Look, we're
your.
gonna give you more
Pull it up.
references, brother.
No,
Look,
pull it up. Pull it
them
up.
same
No,
buildings,
A1,
just like look,
A1, you're not gonna run over me. You're not gonna run down
I'm
on
not
me.
gonna run
Pull
down.
it
I'm
up.
giving you sources. I'm
Can
giving
any
you
of you
sources.
people?
Look,
Pull
Gracie
up,
Manor.
pull up.
Gracie Manor was occupied by Negroes. The
I,
Aboriginals
I pull up,
occupied Gracie Manor.
pull
No, I
up
want
the
to see the
first
34th
prisons in
Street.
America and see what pop up. Just type in your computer, first prisons in
No,
America, and
you
see
have
what
to
pop
share
up.
screen. You have to share screen. You show me where the 34th Street post office is. That there's evidence that the Aboriginal and Native Americans built it.
They ain't only
They ain't
gonna
gonna
tell
say no
you when it
Native
was
American.
founded. They only tell you when it was founded. It ain't gonna tell you when it was built.
So where's the information that you're getting that says that it was Native American?
Because we're not Native Americans, brother. We
Aboriginal.
Aborigines, or AKA in modern or mythology terms, Atlanteans.
You
Okay,
Atlanteans too?
bro. Atlantis was in America, my man.
He was just talking Emerald Tablets. You know he an Atlantean.
Okay.
Hold on, bro. Y'all feeding this man. Y'all feeding him way too much information, bro. He gonna
I
go
have
on
some
upload.
questions.
I'm
Yeah,
giving
Hey,
him
he
bro.
but
homework.
Hey,
I'm
bro.
giving
from.
him
I have
Hey,
homework.
some
No,
real,
it's a
questions.
real
class.
quick, man.
Look, he being a
Just
scholar, and we
You
being
know
the
why?
teachers like we
You
are.
know
I
why?
have
Right.
Because I
but,
have
bro, I'm
high blood
saying y'all
pressure.
jumping.
Hey
A1. If you
y'all.
want me to
Hey
talk,
y'all.
Y'all,
I
I
have
look,
can
I'm
high blood
even,
pressure.
I'm
I'm
muting
even
my
I'm not
mic. Go
confused,
ahead,
bro.
yo.
Like,
yo.
right.
I'm
I done
not
heard
giving
this
you
shit
the
1,000
smoke.
times. I'm still confused. But look, bro, y'all trying to give this nigga too much information. He gonna use the information that we saying against us. We can't behave like that, bro. It's too much.
I'm not gonna do it to
Man,
y'all because
Smoke.
I'm
I'm
58 years
47 years
old.
old. I'm a sentient being. I do as I please. So whatever I say to him, I don't care who he go back and run back to, bro.
No,
I
it's
got
not.
the proof. I got the proof myself. Was
Okay, so let me
if
get
ain't nobody
all of
else on the
that.
platform
Let
got
me
the
get
proof,
all the
everything I
sources.
say, I'ma show and prove.
No problem.
So they
So
can go live. They can go live. You say
I
A1 told brother Reggie on March 24th, 2020 motherfucking 3 that the Aborigines or the indigenous or inhabitants of North America built the motherfucking post office on 34th fucking street, bro, and more buildings in New York.
which one can you name
At
them all?
3:16
At the
p.m.
post office, we got what Grand Central or Grand
You said, all
Concourse?
right, hold on, 3:16 p.m. Eastern Central Time, but 4:16 p.m. Eastern Time, nigga. So, look, you know now. Now you know. This is technology we had, brother. We was building. Listen, you heard of the World Fair. All of the World Fairs was built by us. They tore them shits down after we was warm with these people, man. All of these buildings we ain't no primitive people. We lived in, look. The brownstones in New York was built by us, by Lenapes or Mahatas or the Seneca. They was the ones that built Cleopatra Needle that's in Central Park. That's
Hey,
ain't nobody bring that Cleopatra Needle there.
can I ask
Cleopatra Needle been,
brother?
I just want to say this one point. Cleopatra Needle that's in Central Park been there. They want you to believe they took it from Egypt. Then okay, the closest water line to Central Park would be what? The Henry Hudson or the water that goes under the 59th Street Bridge. So they put that on a boat and then found some way to haul it all the way from the shoreline, all the way through Central Park and stand it up. That been there. Cleopatra Needle, you find obelisks all through the Americas. The obelisk at Washington, D.C. is the obelisk we built. But guess what? At the bottom of it, they saying it's a pyramid. So you don't like when we talk this stuff up here, bro. You have no idea how far we can go with this.
I'm sure y'all can go very
We can
far.
go very far. We can go very far to show you that we not these primitive West Africans that got to come over here and go to school and learn our science, brother. The science that we built is the science that the whole world uses, brother. People got to come here and go to school and get and learn curriculums to learn the shit that we was building here thousands of years ago.
Okay. I listen. You know I disagree, and you should be like your brothers say, right? Some of that you should keep to your own science, right? I'm being polite. I'm just being polite to y'all.
We
That's your
know.
own
We know.
science, right?
Do you
My
lean on science to find the
Hey,
truth?
Reginald, we're gonna keep it real simple for you. You
All right,
think
yeah.
everybody come from Africa? You think everybody came from Africa, or we were the first people in America? Us
I
Negroes.
want to know if you are you
No,
leaning
hold
on
on, hold on,
science
hold on,
to
hold on, hold on.
find the
Let
truth.
him hold on. Let him answer that real quick. We just gotta see where he at.
Right.
What class he in?
The Americas was the last continent to be populated. In my studies,
Yeah.
two groups of people came. Some
Mm-hmm.
over the Bergen, the land bridge, right?
The Bering Strait.
Clovis theory.
Barren, right? And
You're
the
right.
other
Okay.
group,
Yeah, I
the
hear him
other
right.
group that
Yeah.
came were the
Okay.
people from Oceania,
All
Okay.
right, brother Reggie. There's a
Hold on,
lot
y'all.
of
That's what.
hold on.
Hey,
No, we sticking with this right here. What
yeah,
he
that's
talking
what
about?
class
We ain't
he in
going
though.
nowhere else.
I just want y'all to know what class he in.
Brother Reggie, it's a lot of problems with what you just said, which with being a researcher and a scholar of yourself. That
yeah, because I am.
that I have watched over the years. I'm respectful. Even in disagreement, I respect research. You
Yeah,
feel me?
respect you, bro.
And methodology. But with being a researcher that you are, you should already know that there are things in America that is way older than the Clovis theory. As a matter of fact, it kept happening so much that they kept pushing the timeline back of the crossing, and now they pushed it back so far that they would have been traveling during the coldest period of the ice age, which is virtually impossible. So there are things that have been discovered in America that is way much older, not hundreds of years or thousands. We're talking tens of thousands of years older than this so-called land bridge theory, now to the point that now they're talking about a sea traveling migration, but they're not even saying that those people, they're calling them Polynesian and Australoid. And we know what Australians and Papua New
Yeah,
Guineas and what they look like. These are Negroes, not no dark-skinned Mongoloids. These are Negroes. And
yeah.
I'm doubling down on that, because when the brother asks you who do you think was here first, and you start going straight to skin color, like, oh, they was just black Mongol, like, no, we're talking about
I don't talk like
niggas.
that.
No, but earlier
Reggie
you
don't
said
talk
that.
like that. I
No,
don't.
no, no, no. Earlier when the
Even
brother
when I'm
about
talking casual, right?
yeah, we talking casual. Yeah.
I wasn't trying to do the skin color game. I identified there are various reasons why people have darker skin, right?
Right.
Their closeness to the equator, right? Their diet, and then also from where they came from, right?
Right.
So look, there are groups of humans in the Americas, right? But humanity wasn't established in the Americas. They came from somewhere else, right?
That's just not true though. Like,
Okay, so
Are you
that's one group. That's one group that says. That's one person that says. Because then you have to do you have to do the inventory of finds, and so that means evolution happened in the Americas. Now listen, I'm gonna. You know what?
this is good for you, Reggie. This is really good for you. Like,
No, it's not. Listen, I just can't listen.
you're gonna hear about this again. You
You
already
know
see
who I,
Tariq. Tariq
know
Nasheed
who I,
already changing his tune, man.
no,
All
y'all
y'all, come
already
on.
know who I am, right? I
Hey, you could
totally
be. You could
disagree.
be. Oh, go ahead.
Except for maybe one or two. First, I just started off with just family.
Yeah,
Like
we got you,
before
Reggie.
y'all go to Atlantic
Yeah,
and all of this, you got to know
yeah,
who your family is. I'm a very simple teacher, right?
yeah. So you got African family members that live in Africa?
No, not directly.
Oh damn! Whoa,
So you
you
ain't
got
got
to know
no
your,
African
No,
you
genealogy.
got to know your
You
family,
ain't gonna
homie.
find not one African on
You
your
said you got.
genealogy.
Hey,
no,
listen,
not
man.
not
Reggie,
not
I ain't the one,
direct.
Reggie.
I
Hey,
have
I'm the internet
stories.
worst nightmare, Reggie. Man.
Reggie,
I have
you're
Yeah.
not gonna
stories.
find no African on your
He
genealogy.
said.
You ain't
He
gonna
said.
find no so-called
But he
Negroes.
said family the most important though.
Yeah, but
Where you from
okay,
Africa?
so through his family, he should find some African records. If he don't, then that means he Aborigine.
Reggie,
Hey,
you
No,
gotta get
that
back
don't
in.
mean
You
I'm
gotta get back in
Aboriginal. That
class,
hey,
means
Reggie.
Reggie, why you so
I'm a kidnapped African.
with all due respect, why you so hung ho and stuck on evolution? You don't see the disrespect and evolution.
Brother
That base.
Reggie uses evolution. Come on, this is y'all mixing me up.
Man, that's
No,
for
I'm
the
not mixing you up.
eugenics, man. You
I'm
know.
asking you why you so stuck on it. Cause look, this is my theory, right?
This
We
is not
know.
where. Okay, I listen to you, but evolution is not where I start. I start
Okay,
with my. I start like some of you do with your own families. That's where I
right,
start, and
right.
then
But you believe in evolution, though.
of course.
And
All
you
right,
believe
so
you're
so
African.
this is so this
My
the
bad, go ahead.
problem that I got with it right here, right? Is that we know that term monkey has been a derogatory term for at least 100 years. We'll just give it that, right? Now, under the disguise of science, they got a lot of niggas to agree to being monkeys. You don't see
We not
you
monkeys.
don't
We
see how
great apes. One
hypocritical is that
second.
shit is. But you're saying you came from monkeys though, so
No,
you a
I
monkey.
didn't say we come from a monkey. I said
I
we come from
apes.
great apes.
Okay,
He said he
apes.
came from an ape.
Okay,
Yeah, we come from great apes. We come
another
from.
Who?
a
No,
bigger
I ain't come
monkey,
from no ape.
a
I
Motherfucker.
know
bigger
that's where
monkey.
you say you don't come
You
from. That's fine.
White
Yeah,
people
you
come
yeah,
from
yeah.
apes.
This is where we
The
come from.
Darwin
Look,
theory
look,
is
look,
about
look.
the
You see
evolution
this
of
right
white
here?
people, my
You
dude.
see this right
that's
here?
your grandpapa?
Yeah,
That's a
this is my
white
great
man.
great grandpa. This is Homo heidelbergensis. See that right there?
Man, this
Huh?
dude playing, man.
That's Homo heidelbergensis.
Hey
That's
Reggie, you need some
right.
backup. You need some backup, Reggie.
There
Bro,
you
my
go.
dude.
Wait, hold on. Wait, where's this at?
Yo, it been human activity in the world before Homo
So
sapien, before
so
the
you don't.
dateline of Homo sapien. Before 200,000 years ago, you got human activity that go back over 1,000,000 years, and
Yeah,
these
but
are not no primates.
listen. We look. Here's
Man,
Homo.
stop
Yo,
saying
that's
we.
Who you see?
pseudoscience.
You know
Say
That's
who you
that's
see
you.
right
pseudoscience right there. That's all pseudo. Anything coming from eugenics is pseudoscience,
here?
man.
It's not
Damn,
no
Reggie.
All of that is
Reggie.
pseudo. That's real pseudoscience.
right. You
Nigga
see
be
this right
calling us
Reggie.
here?
pseudos.
Hey,
That's
brother
real.
Reggie,
Homo forensis.
brother
That's
Reggie, was he
Homo
erect?
forensis.
Was he
Bro,
upright?
we can't take you
Yeah, he was
serious no more.
upright.
I can't take you serious. I
Reggie, I
can't
want
take you
better for you,
serious no
dog.
Yeah,
more.
yeah.
I want better for you,
You
homie.
see this
Everything
right
you
here?
talk about now is a joke, bro.
That's Homo
Reggie, put
Neanderthal.
that book
You
down,
see that
man.
right there?
Man, this dude is a clown.
Who's calling me a clown?
Nah,
So
he
did your
Are
good.
you
He
for
good.
grandparents
real?
did
Super
Are
your
you
man.
Wait,
grandparents
serious?
who calling me a
That's
clown?
it's
That
the
was Lucky.
Superman.
Lucky
It's
called you a
Superman.
clown.
Oh,
I'm saying,
Superman.
are you
You
are
actually
you
called me.
serious?
So
Are you
Superman, that's
serious?
how we get down.
Nah, you
So I
I'm
good,
come
Reggie.
here.
asking
You
you, are
good.
you
Reggie
I
good.
come
serious?
here. I come here in peace, and I'm showing you. I'm showing you
Yeah.
the
I'm
That
evidence that I'm
wasn't
a
him.
I'm
clown.
That was Lucky.
I'm asking you, are you serious?
I'm dead serious.
so
You
your
for real? Like
grandparents
you
I'm
believe that?
100.
your
You
grandparents
pseudo
sat
than a
you down.
motherfucker. About
You
hey, right
This is
about
you
Homo
now, you
sapien
showing us some
thinking.
real
See this
pseudo
right here?
shit. You believe that?
This
That
is
that's
came
Homo.
you
out the
really
mind of
believe that?
Darwin and his cronies, man.
Your
Okay.
That came out the
grandparents
mind
told
of
you.
Darwin and his cronies.
But
Your
that
grandparents.
Go
dude's
ahead, go ahead.
serious, man.
Hey, hold on. Let's just
Hold
Reggie.
on,
Let's
wait,
just
wait, wait,
Reggie.
wait,
Did
wait,
your
Hey,
wait, wait,
brother
hold
Reggie,
on.
could you show
Let
that
Lucky
last
ask the
picture
question.
again, brother Reggie?
your grandparents sat you down and told you about how your family got here from Africa?
He froze. I think he ran off.
Yeah, this thing done froze.
Man, if that dude's serious, man, come on, bro.
I was
Brain
not
freeze.
disrespectful to him at all.
No,
I
it's we been real nice.
I
I
I
mean,
really like
after
those pictures.
but
Those are
after
some
you
fire ass
show me a
pictures.
monkey and tell me that's where you came from, man, I can't take nothing
Hey,
else
but
you say
listen, y'all see
serious.
why I broke it down like that? I take it all the way back. Like, hold on, wait. You think everybody African? Just to see what class he in. That shit, we still speaking way over his head, bro.
I think he
Oh
thinks
man,
that they're
anytime
still
you present
stupid
any of that
black.
pseudo shit to us, man. No, go ahead, Betty. Go ahead.
None. I just think that they really think that there's people, our people, are going for this bullshit story, and they're trying to see how much they can keep believing in that shit.
Yeah, but they think we slow, man. They think
Yeah.
yeah. It's like you didn't go to the advanced class, so you think your class is hard and you finally get in the class and it's like rocket science, you know. So
Man,
Man,
my
this is all
parents ain't
ancient
never
talk up
told we
here, man.
came from no apes or nothing, man. My daddy smashed that shit. He said that's them white folks. That ain't us.
That's white
You
people.
ain't come
White
from
people. We
that
showing
shit,
you
man.
how they evolved from monkeys. We ain't never evolved from no monkeys, my dude. Man have always been here.
but look, how these groups call themselves woke and we ain't move. We got. I feel like this, right? The information got to keep going. That's all. Like if I'm saying the same shit I said 12 years ago, something wrong. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
that's what I
Nah,
feel
you
like
know
with
what it is
anybody
though. Hey,
intelligent.
let's be for real though.
Because
Let's
we
be
all
for
thought
real,
about
right?
that. We all thought
Hey,
that
look,
one
let
time,
me
Reggie.
say this because
Listen,
I mean, hold on, let
we
me say
about
this
to
one
get
thing.
out of here.
Let me say this one thing, right? This is what we gotta understand, Wolf, is this, right? We gotta understand that education as we think is not our friend. Education, we don't know that they put information out here to keep us confused, bro. They put mad information out here, and as somebody who can work any methodology. Methodology is scientific method: observation, hypothesis, theory, experiment, conclusion. And I mean, from the observation all the way to the conclusion, we concluded that Negroes have always been in America. We ain't never come from no Africa. We weren't ever no slaves, because a slave is a Slavic. So, I mean, I definitely hope you chalking some of this stuff down over here, Reggie. We don't believe in none of that preposterous shit that goes around within the pseudoscience community, showing evolution. We don't believe in none of that. White people wasn't here no 6,000 years ago, bro.
I know, but I listen. I am getting ready to say, bid you all adieu. It was a pleasure. What I did come on, and I started with our close family lines. That's how we know the information about who we are as individuals. Y'all dragged me to other places, and I
But you didn't
presented my
show us nothing that
information.
showed that you're African, though.
I
You didn't
didn't.
show us nothing. You showed your family. Your family ain't. You ain't show us nothing that said you was an African, bro. You
No,
under the
because
assumption you're
Your
African.
family look like my family, bro.
we right we cousins. So here's the thing: is we have a difference of opinion, right? I have had the benefit in my life, right, to research, right, and I'm older than not all of you, but most of you, and I've been around, of course, my great scholars directly, not the other people that come on here, right? But I have had the longevity with my great scholars, Dr. John Henry Clark and Dr. Ben and Professor Leonard Jeffries and Professor Scobie and so on and so forth. I'm just giving you my point of view, and guess what? I'm not trying to force you, right? But we should stay in tune with science, right?
Do you know
Whether you
how
agree or disagree,
imperative this
huh?
information? Do you know how
No,
imperative this information that we putting out there? Imagine if somebody forget Africa, okay? These people that stole our landmass here and told us that we came from a whole nother continent when our family was always here. So do you understand the agent talk? We not
A
doing this. This ain't got nothing to do with just
A1,
present a article and then you present an article. No,
A1,
we standing on truth. Reggie.
It's
A1.
real shit, man.
Wait, okay, that's fine. Listen, I started by showing you I have knowledge of my family. Many of at another time I get a chance to talk to y'all, I like to see your families because we're family, right? I like to. You consider me being Aboriginal, right, and not from Africa,
Are
right?
you hold on? Are you
Well,
are you saying you are
hey,
Aboriginal?
Dr.
Wait.
Reggie,
right,
Dr. Reggie, you could call me on my phone. I'll be more than thrilled to go through my
so
genealogy, show you the
right,
family record.
so it
Are you
starts
saying
there.
you're
But
Aborigine, Reggie? Wait.
no, I didn't say I was that.
Are
You
you claiming
consider
that
me.
you're Aborigine now?
No, I'm not Aboriginal. I'm kidnapped African.
Oh, okay, all right.
My family
So you're not
kidnapped,
Aboriginal to Africa?
huh?
You Aboriginal to Africa?
The Africans sell other Africans.
Of course.
You know what
how you
Aboriginal? You know
call
what
you say
Aboriginal mean,
kidnapped
right?
and not a sold African by another African?
Native Americans and Aboriginals sold other Aboriginals. So
No,
what?
no, they didn't. But we get into that. That's another conversation.
Okay.
That's
So there
another
we go. So
conversation.
you're the cleanest of the cleanest. But I'll tell you one thing. One
No, we
thing.
had slaves. We actually had the first slaves in America,
Yeah.
which was
So
white people. It wasn't Africans, right?
well, you had to know about slavery by enslaving your own people.
Reggie,
Look, we
Reggie,
got.
He don't get it. He don't
in the
get
Look,
it.
you know
spirit
I
of
He don't
disagree.
understand what the
I'm gonna
term
get it.
slave is.
Reggie,
You
Reggie.
know I
You don't
you
get it.
captive
Can,
slave. You speak of
can I
English.
ask you a question?
I
Hold on,
speak
y'all.
Reggie,
Everybody mute up.
Hablo
Everybody mute up. Let's
español.
let Dr. Reggie get it out.
Right.
Huh?
Everybody mute up, please, respectfully. I heard a lot of background noise. Go ahead.
Reggie, in the spirit of scholarship, have you ever challenged your teachers? Have you ever challenged the information, or you just took what they said as the gospel?
No, no. Actually, there are scholarly disagreements based on newer information.
So
So,
listen,
for example, Cheikh Anta Diop talks about the Grimaldi man, and that the man was changed because of climate. When the African left Africa and went into Asia, he was changed by his environment and climate. That is before the human genome was uh, the human genome was created. So before we had evidence of the human genome, it would be reasonable to say
No,
not
no, I'm saying have
that.
you personally uh, challenged the information that these people was giving you?
Uh, I'm giving you one example in scholarship, and you're talking about me personally. Yes, I did. I talked to my elders, Leonard Jeffries and Professor Small, about I have different views on spirituality. I don't
Did
believe in
Professor Small
spirituality.
tell you that he said his ancestors been here for 200,000 years in North America?
He might say that public. He may say that publicly. I've never had a discussion. I hear it from what people say on YouTube, but in the 34 years, I've never heard that out of his
he
He
said
mouth.
said it.
that
He
on
said
that
it, brother.
time. Listen,
Well,
I called him in. It's live. It's public. I was talking to him that day. And he told me live on Sunday.
he said that his ancestors were here in
He
Americas.
said, "What do you know about Aboriginal culture?" He said, "Far as I know, is that my ancestors been in America for 250,000 years, and my grandfather and his grandfather took him to a particular mound from where his ancestors were buried at." He said he didn't have no knowledge about African lineage or heritage until he came to New York. That's what he was said on Sinetta TV talking to me. That's it. That's
Well, I would have liked to be, and he said all of his ancestors.
Well, no, he said he didn't say all, but what he said is
Okay.
my ancestors. He didn't exclude
Okay.
any of them.
Okay.
He said my ancestors been in this land for
Okay.
250,000 years and
Okay.
going to that particular spot where their ancestral lineage was buried at for 250,000.
Professor Small,
Oh man.
Professor Small may have Native Americans in his
Not
family.
Native Americans, brother. Native Americans. The Native Americans are Mongols. The original inhabitants of this land are Negroes.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
We're not
So
gonna keep. We're not gonna keep make
I mean,
differentiate the
listen.
Native
You
American
can
Hold on, wait,
coexistence.
hold on.
you can reject what I say, my terminology, right? Please
Gotta correct
excuse
you.
me. Watch this. Please excuse me, right? If I could say Aboriginal, right? I could say Native American. I could be like other people. I am trying to be, God damn it, respectful. And then what happens is, even with me trying to be respectful, you still
You
pushing me.
calling us Native Americans though, man. They not Native
I
Americans
said
are
Professor
Aborigines.
Small
Oh no, yeah.
may
Professor
have
Small said
Native
everything you
American. I'm
Well,
not
said.
talking about you.
what I'm saying is we made a distinguishing characteristic.
Right. I don't know your code words. I
right.
don't know your
No, no,
gang
no,
gang.
no. I'm saying,
I don't.
no, 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 no. You may not,
I don't know your gang sign.
listen. You may
I
not know,
don't know.
Reggie.
No.
You may not know, but
Right,
your
that's why
elder.
I'm talking y'all.
I know. Listen, your elder understood the terms. He was
Look.
able to make the distinguishing characteristics between an Aboriginal and a Native American. And he implied on Aboriginal history, not Native American history that he had, but Aboriginal history. And this is documented. So he understands the difference or the code about gang. Your elder understands it.
Okay, well, he watch
Gang,
this.
gang.
Watch this. He is one of my esteemed elders.
Right, correct.
Oh, don't
And
double
he's
down
the
now.
youngest of them, right? My oldest is Dr. John Henry Clark, right? And then Dr. Joseph Benjo Cannon, and then Dr. Leonard Jeffries, and I forgot Professor Edward Scobie. So if he talked about his family line and he said that, then at some point I'll try to figure out to get some clarification from him. But please, family, don't take anything that anybody says as true. Do your own research and start with
That
your
man
own
said
family.
You right.
200,000
You
years
right.
before Homo sapien.
Yeah, that's it.
Sapien.
That's one
Nah,
thing I
brother,
do agree with you.
that man wasn't. He wasn't drunk.
Both my parents are both my parents are in the dirt.
Hey, let me ask you this, Dr. Reggie, and you're doing good. We're just having a conversation. You brought up your family, and we're going to bring up, I would like to show you some of my family records, but I would like to ask you, since you have known history about your family, what tribe do your ancestral family come from, whether it's African or Aboriginal tribes of America? What tribe are you connected with if you are?
According to my uncle, just so that you know, according to my uncle, my mother's, and these are the light ones, right? My mother's brother.
Lighter than you?
Talked to my grandmother. He did. He talked to my where's my thing? He talked to my grandmother. Her name is Flora Gilchrist, and I'm trying to pick her. She's dark skinned. Flora Gilchrist says that her people was Ghanaian. Didn't say what tribe, ethnic group, but that's what she said. Now, whether or not that is true, that is what she says. Now, that doesn't say what tribe.
Do you believe that your grandmama will lie to you?
No, she would try to answer to me to the best of her ability.
And now I'm gonna ask you another question. Do you believe that the colonizer who kidnapped you and now giving you Western education will lie to you?
Yes, he has lied.
Okay, just make it.
Yeah. So here's my grandmother Gilchrist. Here she is, right? So she married William Gilchrist, who was light, and on my mother's side, my mother's father's side, they are the light ones.
Hey, Reggie, I think it'll help us if you showed us African, you know what I mean, relative, because you were saying it's about family and you're African, right?
Yeah, because see,
because we agree about being American. We want to see the African.
If I show you my family line,
like in Africa,
they are largely African American, and in there are white folks. Now,
can I ask you a question for that right there?
Continental Africans, right? Continental Africans were still coming in here into the Americas in enslavement. I know that's a bad word for you, right? Up to 1865, right?
Reggie, in your community, you said you 58, right?
Yeah.
Growing up, did you see anybody else in your community besides black people and white people?
Or it's a better question: were Africans coming in from your family, your African family members? Were they still coming in?
No.
Or did they already came in with slavery?
No, because I think I told you that. But me growing up, watch this. I grew up past the 60s, and so I'm growing up in the period of the Black Panther Party.
Right. See, it's a problem we have in Reggie. I think it's a problem.
So growing up, I saw many people with dashikis and stuff like that. And in Virginia, there's a if people don't know, there was a whole cultural movement of
Right.
that.
The people in the
We know that. We
dashiki,
know
were
all
they
that stuff, Reggie.
African or
Yeah.
were they
We,
niggas
Hey,
put
listen,
with
I would love to sit around,
dashiki
but I
black?
gotta go, you guys.
yeah.
I've been
Shout
here
out to
for
you, Reggie.
4 hours. This
Yeah,
was
I gotta go too. I just wanted to come and do a powwow.
see,
No,
look,
it's
there you
been fun.
there you go.
And that was slick.
I want I just want to say peace. I do want to tell you all I'm doing a presentation on rights, and that is going to be a little bit more complicated on rights, on the rights that we have. So I know that some of you are fighting for Aboriginal rights, right? And I do want to talk about that. So I do my presentation, and maybe you will disagree or agree and invite me back on. But I just want to come on and just
When are you doing your presentation? I would like to be there to check it out. When are you doing this?
listen. Unfortunately I am working. I was working on a federal case, and it got the summary judgment, and it got dismissed, and so we have to appeal it, right? So I'm writing that. If you don't know, I've worked on federal cases and stuff like that. I actually wrote a brief to the Supreme Court. I did my own federal case, right? I did. It got dismissed in federal court.
What was the name of that? What was the name of that you worked with the brother on? Black. What? Come on, hear me out. It was a couple years ago. Um,
I worked with Dr. Jahi Issa.
Jahi Issa, Black Plan for America, right? Black Plan for America.
No, that's my paper. Black
Okay,
City.
that's what you're talking about. Okay, that was a good plan.
But that's not. That's a plan for Black America and for you too if you want to follow it. It's a good paper. It's free. TheBlackCityPlan.com.
Black City Plan, right? That's it.
Well, listen, so I enjoyed this conversation. My community is going to be like Reggie. You're supposed to, but I just wanted to have a conversation with y'all. I don't think that I see Aboriginal power. How can I say autochthonous? And I heard A1 and some of the sisters come. I just think that first let's talk. I've debated the Moors. I debated the Moors. Y'all know that, right? That's not a group to play with, to be disrespectful to, right? But Brother Reggie I'm worth my scholarship, right? Because they would not have let anybody just debate them, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I debated them, and we have a disagreement, agreed to disagree, but that's who I am, right? I don't come and curse nobody out. I ain't threatening nobody. We just gonna see what the evidence is for other people to work on it. If I'm wrong, y'all show me that I'm wrong. But that post office stuff, we gonna work on that. The building, the building, the post office, and what do you call it, Grand Concourse, and all of that. I'm gonna look into that a little bit. I know Seneca Village. I walk through Seneca Village all the time, right? I know that actually helped. Watch this. Me and Dr. Leonard Jeffries helped get signage for Seneca Village, right? Because there was only one sign, and we did a presentation to the Parks Department and the Central Park Conservancy, right? In council board number I think 9, and after that they put up more signs. So I do work. I've been on reparations hearings and stuff like that. But let's just continue to talk. So Aboriginal power and family, it was a pleasure. Thanks for letting me on, and thanks.
I will be in contact with you after that presentation on right. So I'm waiting to see that. So
I hope I didn't waste your time. You get at least. Yeah, I hope I didn't waste anybody's time. I know y'all disagree with me, but with that said, we get some time. We continue to talk. All right.
All right. Enjoy the rest of your day, Brother Reggie. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Appreciate the discussion, bro.
Peace to y'all. Thank y'all so much.
Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. We got 242 in here right now, man. We about to get ready to get out of here. We almost hit the 4-hour marker, man. Appreciate you guys for coming through. It was an interesting conversation with Dr. Reggie, one of many. And maybe it's been a while, it's been a while. Definitely looking forward to engaging with more of the HOK members that initially started this whole back and forth with perspectives. Shout out to everybody in the building. This is your brother Aboriginal Power. If you enjoyed this live stream, support the channel. Cash App and PayPal information at the bottom of the screen. Make sure y'all support the channel, man. It's very important for you guys to support the channel. Chick Harmony Rules, Absolute, Moses, Von Mack, Hiker, Darius McNear, Absolute Lee. What's going on? I see y'all in here. I see y'all. What's going on with y'all? Y'all good? Make sure y'all be safe on this Friday, man. You know, it get crazy. You know what I'm saying? Make sure y'all be safe. Want to see y'all back in here on another episode. Y'all know what's up. Autonomous Copper, man. Hey, what's going on, man? What's going on, man? Infinite God. I see you. Shay Pink. What's going on, sister? What's going on, Shay? What's going on, beautiful? How you doing today? Shout out to Shay. King Kapala, what's going on, brother? I see you. I see you. Patrick Gabriel, what up, brother? You know what I mean? What's happening? Hey, the movie stream. I'm at the move stream. Is that what his name is? The movie stream? Yeah, shout out to the movie stream, man. Attentionist Amaru Khan, Toby True. PNF, what's going on, PNF, man? You ain't trying to line up no phase with nobody in here? You know what I'm saying? Come around. Line you up a fade with some of these brothers I know you disagree with. You know what I'm saying? We doing debates. You know what I'm saying? We want to see you over here. Shout out to everybody in the building, man. Before we go, we can get y'all to drop a fire emoji in the chat. Don't forget to support the channel. Be safe, be aware, stay vigilant, stay dangerous. It's your brother Aboriginal Power, and we out. Peace.
See, my life has been in motion. I'm a little windy. I'm not giving up yet. If you with me, time to place up your bet. Ain't no turning back. Got niggas who ran. When we caught his ass, got caught in that jam. Yeah, you know who I am. Yeah, you know who I am. I can feel it coming. I can feel it coming. It's that feeling in your stomach, you can feel it coming. It's that feeling in your stomach, you can feel it coming. Yeah, you can feel it coming. Fake love, that snake you in your face, love. That snake you in your face, love. I told my brothers we gon' make it, that's how God wrote it. And the snake gon' show his face, cause that's how God wrote it. Too much fake love, that snake you in your face, love. Your face, love. That snake you in your face, love. I told my brothers we gon' make it, that's how God wrote it. And the snake gon' show his face, cause that's how God wrote it. Too much fake love, that snake you in your face, love. Your face, love. That snake you in your face, love. I told my brothers we gon' make it, that's how God wrote it. And the snake gon' show